And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Benilde-St. Margaret's for day 2 of week 1 in high school football here in Minnesota, and day 2 here on CCX Sports. I'm Charlie Beatty, joined by Ryan Iverson. And Ryan, right off the bat here, the section that these two teams are in, Orono and Benilde-St. Margaret's, is loaded. That makes this a big game right away.
Well, it's fun to have a meaningful game right out of the pocket. We get stuck watching college football with all these meaningless football games, right? Well, right off the bat, you got two rivalries. They've played each other extremely close the last few years. We have a new head coach on the Orono side, and I just love the smell of football, Charlie. It just is fun to be back in this season. Excited for tonight.
That's authentic. He's that fired up. And, of course, everybody's fired up at this time of year, and Isaiah Smith would love to be out there for Benilde-St. Margaret's. A star running back injured himself on Tuesday. He's not available tonight. They have other good backs, but that's a horse that they're missing.
Yeah, it is, and it's unfortunate. He broke the same bone that he actually had issues with last year, and it could end up being a feel-good story because he can get healed, come back, and maybe be here for the second half of the season. And what it does is next man up. When someone like that goes down, Charlie, you got to find who's that next mentality, who's going to fill those shoes. So you get another opportunity, and they're going to find out who can replace. It's hard to replace 1,600 yards, though, I can tell you that.
Well, this one should be fantastic. The last two games come down to a 4-point margin and a 5-point margin. Last year's was decided in the final 2 minutes. We can only hope for more on CCX Sports.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
And from that to this, as we start this game a couple minutes early, Orono kicking it off. And Benilde-St. Margaret's on the return. Charlie Beatty, Ryan Iverson upstairs, and Jackson Leischow out across the 20-yard line. And that's where the Red Knights' first drive of the season will start. Out at the 23, and they are led out by their senior quarterback, Nick Peterson, back for his second year as a starter. Last year, 11 touchdown passes for Peterson. One of the biggest ones in week 1 to beat Orono in the final couple minutes.
Yeah, and they're expecting big things out of him this year. Coach Hanks was telling me before the game that they had a lot of drops last year. He might have been a 2,500-yard passer, so they expect him, especially with the injury to their star running back, to have a big season.
Out of the shotgun on first down. And the handoff right away goes to William Petty, last year's second leading rusher, and he is up near the 30-yard line. Good pickup on first down for Petty.
Yeah, not a bad guy to have as your backup. Almost 500 yards last year, 8 touchdowns. He's a strong, powerful runner, and it's really going to be interesting to watch, Charlie, the running game, the strength of Benilde-St. Margaret against a really stout defensive line and linebacking crew for Orono.
This is the experienced side of the football for both teams. The other sides of the ball lost a lot of players, but the defense for Orono and the offense for Benilde-St. Margaret's do have some returning starters, as that's a first down, another 5 yards for Petty.
And in those kind of plays, they're demoralizing because you feel as a defense you won those, right? Not a big gain, kind of a slow developing play, but 2 rushes, a first down, you keep moving the chains. Up front, defensive line for Orono's got to win their individual matchups to stop that running game.
Keep an eye on number 10, Danny Strigo, the third Strigo brother to come through here, and he is on his way to the University of Minnesota when it's all over. Here's Petty right up the middle. Finally hauled down by Noah Arneson, but into Orono territory. Petty's off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, and the key on that was number 68, Stephen Birch, who was pulling out to the left, and he got to that second level, and you're going to see him. And a nice job. There's big 68 out there pulling. Look at that kick out block. That frees him up for another 10 to 12 yards. 3 plays, 3 of the exact same plays. 2 to the right, that one down to the left.
Petty gets a breather here on this play. And they will hand it off again, this time to Camden Royal. And he's got big yardage to the outside, grabbed down by the jersey, but he's going to pick up about 14 more yards. Yeah, Benilde-St. Margaret's with a flag down on this play, however. That'll bring it back.
Let's see if we can see that on the replay. Again, same kind of a play. Yeah, you can see the hold right there. It looked like that was Joe Marinaro, the running back out front, got his hands caught outside of the cookie jar.
You know, just like players get nervous for their first game of the year and excited, referees are excited too. A lot of them, this is their first game. They're anxious to blow that whistle sometimes too. So get the first penalty out of the way.
Spot foul, so it moves it back to the Benilde-St. Margaret's 45, a loss of 7, still first down. And they'll try Royal again. This time breaks a tackle in the backfield, but the cavalry there for Orono. Eventually bringing him down was John McCuskey.
Well, I'll tell you, the key was, and you talked about him, Danny Strigow, going to the University of Minnesota on a football scholarship, and he's big number 10. Great speed off of that ball. He's coming from defensive end on the left side, and he's able to get in that backfield, just disrupt the flow and the timing. And his teammates did a nice job of pursuing down the line.
Joe McPherson, the new head coach for Orono, was the defensive coordinator the last handful of years. And knows this group very well. It's at 6 returning starters on the defensive side of the football. Peterson going to throw for the first time. The lefty down the middle, and it's a little short. Threw it at the feet of Joe Marinaro, and a little bit of pressure on the quarterback there as well.
Yeah, and you could kind of tell that time. It looked like Peterson was a little nervous in that drop. His feet were going. He didn't have a ton of pressure there. He could have taken another second and allowed his receivers to get a little bit of separation. Great coverage downfield, too, by number 4, Teddy Dieters. And again, even as a senior, even as a returning starter, you got that nervous energy. And sometimes you just need that first completion as a quarterback to kind of settle down.
After a really good start to this drive, now they're facing 3rd and 16. At their own 46, the Red Knights. Peterson to throw. He wants to go to the outside, looking for Zach Swenson. That was the combination that beat Orono in the final seconds last year. That one's incomplete.
Well, and I like the throw. He put it to the outside where only his receiver could get it. Swenson that time, I don't know if he lost it up in the air, but it didn't look like he made any adjustment to the outside to try to make that catch. But hey, I love you take a shot deep, give your quarterback a chance, and your receiver, your playmaker to go make a play. And if you don't get it, you're going to punt and still probably have pretty good field position.
Louis Hyde on to do the punting for Benilde-St. Margaret's. Not often you see a defensive end as a punt returner, but Danny Strigow is waiting at his own 10-yard line. He is also a running back and just an all-around good athlete. Bounce snap. Good job by Hyde just to get that away. Strigow's going to let it bounce, and that will kill at the Orono 24. So pretty good field position, but a great job by Hyde just to get that thing away.
But I'll tell you, there's a couple things that drive coaches nuts, Charlie, and one of them is penalties. You got 3 straight running plays, 2 first downs, and then they had that big run negated because of a holding, and that really stalled that drive. So I think if you're Coach Hanks and the Benilde-St. Margaret offense, you like what you were doing, minus that penalty, because that kind of got him, out of sync down and distance-wise.
So a new look Orono offense this year. Vaughn is the starting quarterback, the top 3 rushers, and the top 3 receivers, and that includes a 1,000-yard receiver from last year in James Buck. Teddy Dieters is the quarterback. He will hand it off on first down, and Nick Ruland, he is the leading returning rusher from last year. He had 48 yards on 4 carries. So that's how much offense they've lost. Picks up 4 yards on that play.
Well, and they expect really big things out of Nick this year, and he's a great athlete, 6 foot, 185 pounds. I saw him in the pregame warm-ups too, Charlie. He made a couple of one-handed, just spectacular catches. So Coach said they're going to look to him not only to run the ball, but also look for him to catch the ball out of the backfield.
Dieters out of the shotgun, a two-way player. You mentioned his name when he was on defense. A lot of these Orono guys will go 2 ways. The coaching staff doesn't think they are necessarily all that deep. They have 12 seniors on the entire team. 1 yard there for Dieters.
I'll tell you, that was a great ball fake by Dieters, and a nice job, too, by Marinaro there, the outside linebacker, staying home. A lot of times you'll be so amped up, you'll follow that fake, and you give up containment. He did a nice job staying home, and he was there for Dieters just at beyond the line of scrimmage.
Third down, and call it a long 4 from just inside their own 30-yard line, the Spartans. The team last year was 6-4. 7-4. Their season ended by the same team, SMB, who of course went on to win the 4A title. Dieters over the middle and through the hands of the intended receiver, Noah Arneson. And it will be a 3 and out for the Spartans.
Yeah, and a good throw too by Dieters. That may be just a tad high there, but that's a catchable ball. And that's where, when you have a new quarterback, playing, you got to help him out a little bit too. You got to make those kind of catches, those kind of plays. You pick up a good, third down conversion, your first drive on the road in a new season. Those are big plays, confidence builders.
21, Garrett Stanford, and number 12, Jackson Lashow.
So the punt here for the Spartans.
For the Spartans, number 19, Graham Belcher.
Well, keep in mind too, Dieters is the quarterback. He's also in the, always got to be aware of a fake punt.
Fair catch called for. That time by Derek Standifer, the junior wide receiver / defensive back. Decent field position at the 38-yard line for Benilde-St. Margaret's. 8:20 to go in the first quarter.
Well, you mentioned that both these teams losing to SMB in the playoffs, and both of them played them extremely competitive. So, losing by 4 and by 2. So both of these teams were knocking right on the door last year. Even though they Orono lost a lot, they had a lot of experience coming back too, especially defensively. So both these programs very confident, very positive this year.
This section 5 4A, has produced the last 3 4A state champions. 3 different teams. Started with Benilde, as there's a thunderous hit in that hole as Joe Marinaro was running.
Well, now the game started. That was the first big collision. You could hear that one up here in the booth, but you got some Marinaro who's built like a tank there, 215 pounds, and Strigo too, 230 pounds. They met right. A couple yards down the field. That was a good hit.
That run of 3 straight state title winners started with Benilde-St. Margaret's 2016. A fumble on the exchange, and Orono's got it. Coming out of the bottom of the pile, number 68, Charlie Brophy, the sophomore defensive tackle, gets the recovery. And the first big break of the game goes to the Spartans.
Yeah, let's see if we can see. I don't know if that was going to be a fake, a quarterback keep, but when you fake those, you can't leave the ball in the pocket that long. Otherwise, the running back thinks he's getting it, and it just looked like there was a little bit of timing issue on the exchange, and you put the ball on the ground, and what a big play, big turnover, and you give Orono, that offense, some confidence here on the short field.
So they started the Benilde-St. Margaret's 39. And then they cough it up, and it's going to go right back to Benilde-St. Margaret's. It almost looked like there were players leaving early there.
There's got to be a penalty there. That looked like that was a false start on Orono.
And one of the rare times that the team
wants a false
committed
start.
the penalty would argue for it, but so nothing lost for Benilde-St. Margaret's. Wow. 2 fumbles on back-to-back plays, and that snap just never got there.
Yeah, you could see there was definite movement there up to the right of our screen.
David Wilford, the right guard, looked like he was pulling about a second before the ball was snapped. And Joe McPherson didn't seem to be yelling for the penalty against his own team, but he'd still have the ball if they took it. Here's Marinaro. Good hard run. That's a gain of 7 or 8.
Well, you can see Benilde-St. Margaret, the way they're going to try to replace Isaiah Smith is by committee. And you have Marinaro, who's really a big, kind of a stocky fullback with great strength. We've seen some speed with William Petty as well. So they got a good committee of running backs, and they all do it a little bit different. So you give the defense different looks.
Petty's not small either. He's listed at 5'10", 200. Peterson to throw on 2nd and short, and he's got a man. His first completion of the season to Zach Swenson. Gain of 11 on that play.
I love the play call, 2nd and short. You give your quarterback an easier throw, a 5-yard out, and he was right on the money. Excellent play call, excellent execution. And I always like to see quarterbacks take a shot after they get a completion. They're feeling confident. See if your quarterback can make a big play for you.
Swenson only played the first handful of games last year. He was injured late September, didn't play the rest of the season. Flag down on this play, and that is also going nowhere. Number 55, Shea Albrecht, who's 6'4", 280, got through in a hurry. Check the flag here as the official's talking it over. Came out right at the snap. Yeah, formation penalty against Benilde-St. Margaret's. Anytime you see it come out that early, usually somebody's not lined up right or it's a shift. There's head coach John Hanks, who, like his star running back, is also wearing a boot on his right foot, and he's been doing it since April. Tore his Achilles. It's actually a work injury. He's a postal worker, and a box fell on his Achilles and tore it up. He compared his injury to Kevin Durant's in terms of how long it's going to take to rehab that thing. So first down and 15. Peterson to throw underneath again, and a good toss right through the hands of Charlie Detterding.
Well, pretty good protection up front by that Benilde-St. Margaret offensive line. He had some time and able to plant that time and delivered it right on target there. And it's again where you got to hang on to those balls. You work all summer on those, and that's a pretty easy throw, pretty accurate throw as well.
Third drive of the game for Benilde-St. Margaret's, one that was short because of the fumble. The other two have been backed up by penalties right around this spot in the field. Let's see if they can overcome this. Second down at 15. Peterson rolling, and he's looking deep, and he ends up going short. Might have had the man deep as he had Johnny Woodford. It was intended for Dieterding. It was knocked away.
I'll tell you, that was great pass coverage. I couldn't see what number that was. I don't know if that was Joey Tilzer, number 8 on that, but I mean, you talk about hitting the receiver right as that ball was on the spot. That was great coverage. And again, nice play call too, nice play design. You got a left-handed quarterback, you're rolling them out to the left. And to your point, Charlie, there were 2 receivers and only 1 defensive back deep. And that's where, as a quarterback, you got to play the odds and give your receivers a chance to go make a play.
So third down and 15. A little trick play as they run an inside reverse, and it's snuffed out by the Spartans, and then snuffed out again. Strigo. That second hit.
Oh, that was a great job. I couldn't see the number either for.
I think it was Freddie Brophy. He was listed at number 89, but I think he's wearing 79.
Yeah, right there. Great job. You're playing a reverse. You're taught to pursue the ball. You're going one way, and you see the inside handoff. He stayed at home, and he just held on for dear life. That's a big-time play. Or there was some room there in the secondary. That could have been a big play.
It was George Wolf on the carry, another running back. You see a lot of them today.
Yep.
And this time the punt is blocked, and they haven't fallen on it yet. The whistle went, but it doesn't really matter in the end.
Well, great effort blocking that, but here we had another difficult snap, and that's just great athleticism.
Jack Patterson with the block.
Oh, and he needed all of his 6'3" frame there extended out. But you can tell that's the second punt, and that's been the second kind of slower, disgruntled snap, and that time it cost him. It's a nice job by Patterson getting home, and that's, if I'm special teams for Orono, I'm telling them get after that punter until we've seen a more accurate snap.
So it's all coming out in the wash here because Benilde-St. Margaret's fumbled at about their own 38. Orono then fumbled at the Benilde 40. And now Orono, after the block punt, gets it back at the Benilde 41. So we're making incremental progress one way. And the last 3 drives have essentially canceled each other out. 5:40 still to go here in this first quarter. This is already the 6th different possession of the game.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, it's kind of weird in that both teams really are living up to their strengths, right? We knew Benilde-St. Margaret was going to try to run the ball. They've run the ball somewhat effective. And then we knew the defense for Orono is their strength, and their defense has come up with a couple of big plays, a fumble recovery, and that time a blocked punt in special teams.
All over the last couple of years, these teams have met 3 times in the last 2 seasons, but defense has been the name of the game. Here's Rulin off the right, a couple of nice moves, and he's down to about the 37, a gain of 4. But last year, the final 21-16 Benilde. Year before that in section play, Orono 19, Benilde 15. In the regular season 2 years ago, Benilde 14, Orono nothing. So defense has been the name of the game, and we're seeing that again tonight.
I like how Rulin runs there. He runs very patient, almost like Le'Veon Bell, kind of waiting for that seam and that opening to develop, and you can see he can go north and south pretty quickly.
Don't tell fantasy football owners anything about patience and Le'Veon Bell in the same sentence. Oh, speaking of good players, Derek Standifer was gone if he was able to catch that.
I'll tell you, that's scouting, right? You see a key as a defensive back, and he exploded on that, almost got home, and if he is able to catch that, nothing but green in front of him. I'll tell you, when you're a defensive back and you get that wide receiver screen like that, the guy in front of you, as soon as you see him block, you know what's coming. and he attacked it. Now, if I'm Orono, I'm thinking I'm going to fake that and try to go deep on it. That's kind of the counter to that.
We'll see what they do. 3 wide receivers on this near side, including Strigo. Noah Arneson is also out there, along with Gavin Gustafson. Dieter's looking the other way, and in double coverage. Can't connect with Jack Patterson, the man who blocked the punt, and he took a shot on that play, Patterson.
Pretty impressive with Dieters and his throwing ability. I mean, that ball was right in between 3 red jerseys, and he put it right on the money. And Patterson limping, he took a shot right in the back there.
And as I said, this Orono team, not necessarily very deep, very young. They don't have a lot of guys to go to. They don't want to see injuries, especially early. There's the shot, and I wonder if his foot kind of twisted. You see him hold his left ankle.
A pretty impressive throw. That is not an easy throw. You got to get it up over the linebacker and over that depth, but underneath so the safety can't pick it off. That was a good throw.
4 down territory. They need the 31. Dieter's right now going with the hard count, and instead they'll take a timeout.
I think they got the delay of game. There's a flag. Unless they got the timeout before that.
There's the new head coach, Joe McPherson, not new to the program, but in his first year said he's very excited for this one, and there is the penalty.
Yeah, I just asked him how has it been different now that you're the head man in charge, and he just had a big smile, just loves it, enjoys it, loves football. You know, still kind of tends to lean towards the defensive side of things, but feels like he's got a great staff, a great group of kids. He said we're young, but they're excited to get the season started. He's excited to be the head coach.
Here is the punt after the delay of game, high one, and a fair catch called for at the 18-yard line and hauled in there by Jackson Leishow.
Yeah, kind of surprised on that drive, Charlie. It was 2nd and 5 after that first run and 2 straight passing plays, and you know, that's where maybe I go for a run on 3rd down, try to either get that first down, obviously, or if you gain 3 or 4, you set up a 4th and manageable.
Both of these teams with tough early schedules, of course, each other right away. Next week, Orono is going to play Cooper, we saw on CCX last night, and then they will host Chaska on the 13th. Benilde-St. Margaret's home against De La Salle next week. Then they go to Chanhassen. One of only 3 road games for the Red Knights this year. They're one of the lucky teams that has 5 home games. It's a district scheduling issue. They will actually only have 3 home games next year. Marinaro running another body over. He won't get much, but you can see him finish the run out there.
Well, that's what you love to see. You love to see running backs staying low and keeping those feet moving. And it doesn't seem like much, but you know that play is either a loss of a yard, but the way he finishes it, he gets it going forward, at least picks up a yard or 2.
2nd and 9. And back in the backfield is Petty, who we haven't seen since the first couple plays when he really lit it up. But they're all going to get their chances tonight. This time Peterson's going to throw, or wants to anyway. He won't get the chance as he's brought down back at the 16-yard line. Coming around the corner was number 54, David Wilford.
Yeah, nice job that time by this defense. Orono brings some pressure, and Wilford gets home for the sack.
Loss of 4 on the play. Brings it 3rd down and 13.
You know, defensively, 3rd and long, you just want to say you will give up something short, nothing deep. You always are watching for reverses, flea flickers, any type of trick plays. Keep it in front. Let's get 4th down. Let's get a short field for our offense.
See what the play call is for Benilde-St. Margaret's. They are going to throw. Looking to the outside. It is complete. Swenson is there, but he is going to be, I think, just short of the 1st down. It's going to be close. Fighting for extra inches there, but he is going to be, I believe, about a yard short, maybe even less than that.
Yeah, your first big decision here of the season. Do you go for it on a short field? And it looks like they're sending in the punting team, but how about that strike? That was about a 12-yard gain, but he threw it all the way across the field. That was showing off with good arm strength and accuracy as well.
In trouble in the punting game for Benilde-St. Margaret's. Had 1 fumbled snap that they got away and 1 blocked.
You got to watch the fake here.
This one they do get away. Pretty good kick. And it is caught, bobbled just a little bit by Gavin Gustafson, and a nice open field tackle by George Wolf to bring him down at the 36.
I'll tell you, if Wolf doesn't get there, there's room out to the right there, and that could be a big return, big play by George Wolf. You know, a lot of kids too, especially early in the year, they're juniors, they're sophomores. Their only chance to play is on special teams, and that's how you make a name. That's how you show the coaches you're ready to go, by making great open field tackles like that.
Orono's had the better of the field position for the most part today to start this drive at their own 37. So you get a look at Dieters, whose older brother Tommy also played for Orono. Out of the shotgun with Ruland as the only back, 4 wide receivers. They run a lot of different formations at you. The Spartans. Dieters pulls this one down and running for his life, and he will be brought down. Finally getting him was Luke Mathwig, one of the leading returning tacklers for Benilde-St. Margaret's.
Well, nice job containing that time by Benilde-St. Margaret defense, and that's where Teddy Dieters, with experience, I think he eluded the initial pressure. That's where you got to throw it away then and live to fight another day. You don't want to take that 7-8 yard loss. And we're seeing a lot of 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs for both of these offenses, and they're really designed to 3rd and short where they can run, they can still use play action, but you get them in these long down and distances, it's definitely advantage for the defense.
Late first quarter, all defense so far. Dieters, once again, the pocket breaking down a bit, but he's got some room to run on the outside. Shoved out of bounds into his own sideline by Petty, but back to a maybe more manageable 3rd and 8.
Well, that time, great poise. Nothing downfield. He didn't force it. And watch how quick his feet are. I always watch a quarterback's feet. You can see just quick decision, and then right there decides to go for it. And you turn what could be another negative play into a positive, and you set up 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8.
The coaches do love his athleticism, and we've seen his arm. They like that too.
You got to have a kid that knows himself well enough to make quick decisions and make the right decisions, and that time, excellent job by Dieters.
Taking over the QB job from Nick Prentice, who was excellent last year. Dieters in trouble again, and he is going to get the pass away. Flag comes out, and we may have grounding here as he was hit hard.
Well, there was a receiver in the area. Aiden Mueller, number 20, was in the vicinity of that ball.
Flag came out from the near side of the field. It was thrown about 20 yards. Holding is the call against Orono. I think they're going to get that against Shea Albrecht, who was back there trying to protect. And it looked like maybe wrapped up somebody that just allowed Dieters that extra step.
That's a dangerous pass. You're in grasp. You throw that ball up. You know, you don't want to. You'd rather take a sack than a turnover there. But nice job just sustaining the play a little bit by Dieters. But how about the pressure? Say, Benilde-St. Margaret, they're getting after the quarterback. We talked all pregame and during the game really about Orono's defense, but Benilde-St. Margaret's defense has come to play so far too.
So another punt here for Brophy. Yet to have one returned in this game. Line drive kick. This one might be returnable. And a nice return here by Standifer. Out across the 45 to the 46. So good field position for Benilde-St. Margaret. So the $1:10 to go in the first quarter.
Standifer so far tonight's had 2 pretty almost unbelievable plays. This time, nice return, a good spin. Looked like he might turn that into a really big play, and then of course defensively almost had that pick 6 earlier in the game. He's an electric player. He's a great athlete.
Tackled by the punter, Brophy. High school game, getting tackled by the punter, not quite the stigma it might be at upper levels. Brophy is of course also a defensive end.
Well, let's see whose offense can kind of get in that rhythm and maybe get that first big play. We just haven't seen it yet from either offense.
Petty and Royal in the backfield this time for Benilde-St. Margaret's, and they give it to Camden Royal, and they bring him down by the jersey again. Wilford had him tied up.
Joey Tills, our leading tackler from last year's defense, in on that tackle as well. And again, nice job by those defensive ends, just planting, setting that edge, not allowing the speed of the Benilde-St. Margaret running backs to get to that second level, get to the outside. Excellent job.
Tills are number 8. Give is to Petty up the middle. They hid that one pretty well, and the pile's going to move him very close to the marker. Gain of 7, just shy, about a yard.
Well, and you always wonder in the offseason, why am I squatting? Why am I doing lunges? Why am I hang cleaning and doing all that? Well, that's why you do it. You get in those piles, and it becomes, basically who's stronger than who. And a lot of linemen get in there, and you can move that pile an extra couple yards.
3rd and 1. We haven't had a lot of 3rd and shorts in this game, and they will pitch it. And Royal lost the handle, and Orono celebrating on the far side like they have it. And they do.
Orono recovers the fumble.
Celebration was almost too early and then very subdued when they actually signaled it.
Let's see what.
Never had it.
It looked like it was a pretty good pitch. It looked like, too, Camden Royal, when you're running that sweep, you get your eyes up down the field, already looking at the defense. And it looked like that's what happened.
Noah Arneson, number 11, was the one who eventually fell on the holy roller with 1 second left in the first quarter.
Well, the score's 2-1. 2-1 in turnovers, and a lot of times turnovers, whoever wins that turnover battle oftentimes will win the game. And that was set up to be a pretty good gain and a big third down conversion there, but another turnover, and this Orono defense certainly living up to its billing.
You get the feeling after 12 minutes of play that this game is going to turn on one big break, play, one big play. Dieters the handoff to Ruland. Spun forward up to the 45, a gain of 3, and that's the end of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter with a score Orono Spartans 0 and Benilde-St. Margaret 0.
Well, as Ryan said, the score is 2-1. But that's the fumble count, not the point count. Scoreless after 12 minutes of play from Benilde-St. Margaret's on CCX Sports.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Seasonally appropriate attire from the Benilde-St. Margaret student section.
I'll tell you, it's always weird these first couple weeks of the season, still playing and it's light out, right? But the nice thing is you can wear Hawaiian shirts because it's still 60s and 70s and beautiful weather. Fast forward a couple of months and those people will be in Hawaiian parkas and it'll be cold.
Do they make those?
I don't know, but that's a new thing, I think.
I don't know what it's like in other student sections around the country, but I will say Minnesota high school kids are keeping the Hawaiian shirt industry afloat. Everybody's got one. 2nd down and 7 for Orono. Ruland hit immediately. Moving up to make the play was Darnell McCree, the junior at 6 foot 250, and he lost a yard.
Well, he just got great push that time. He got a great jump off the line of scrimmage, and anytime you can get a defensive lineman penetrated into the backfield like that, that just disrupts the running back. Can't even get to the line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you, both of these teams want to establish the run, and really the team up front, offensive and defensive lines, whoever can dominate their one-on-one matchups is going to control the line of scrimmage. And so far, both of these defensive lines have been dominating.
3 wide at the top of the screen for Teddy Dieters. The pressure coming. They set up the screen pass. Ruland has room to run if he gets blocking. Flags come down behind the play, and that's going to bring this one back.
And that's really too bad because that play was executed perfectly. You saw all the red jerseys, offensive linemen let those defensive linemen go. Timed perfectly, beautiful pass, and that was a big gain that's going to be brought back because of a hole.
Set up about a 3rd and maybe 16. Watch the hold right out in front.
Right there.
Now they got Freddie Brophy. Not sure if Ruland would have been able to get away without that, but you never know. That brings it all the way back to the 36. They need the Benilde-St. Margaret's 48. So when it hasn't been fumbles, it's been penalties tonight.
Yep.
Week one-itis, I guess you might call this for both teams.
Well, and I talked to both coaches, and Coach Hanks especially. I said, is the defense way ahead of the offense? He said, yeah, naturally, at this time of year, it always seems that way, where defenses are clicking, and offense is so much about timing and trusting each other and just knowing what plays to go to when you need to. So it's a learning curve.
And his is the defense that lost its top two tacklers from last year. Dieter's trying to turn the corner. He might be able to pick this up, and he will, still on his feet inside the 40. They're going to bring him back to the 45. That's still enough for a first down.
What a big play. I mean, you talk about Teddy Dieter's and athleticism. Well, there he showed it off. He dropped back, and he realized in a second he saw that left edge wide open. And watch him take off. Watch his acceleration here. Right there, he gets to the outside. He knows it's a foot race, and he knows he's going to win that. And I love right here, instead of going out of bounds, he tries to get that extra yardage too. That's how you endear your team into believing to you too, when they see their quarterback fighting for extra yards. That was a big conversion.
Must have just barely stepped out. Hard to tell on those replays, but he had enough for the first down anyway. 1st and 10 at the Benilde 45. A low throw bounces into the arms of Arneson, incomplete.
And that time it looked like he just short-armed that, rushed the throw a little bit to Arneson. And those quick throws, sometimes you rush it. You got to stick to your mechanics. You got to be accurate on those.
Dieter's attempted only 7 passes last year. He completed 4. 0 for 4 to start this year. Orono's problem, they played a lot of close games last year.
Well, in a couple of his throws tonight, he hasn't been helped out by his receivers. He's been accurate with a couple of those throws. That one, just a little short.
2nd and 10.
You could see the Orono sideline fired up after that big first down run by their quarterback.
Their longest play of this, from scrimmage in this game by a lot. First over 10 yards. And in motion is Gustafson, and here comes the flag. And delay of game here. So another execution style penalty, more of that week one mistakes. They need to gain the 35, but they're backed up in a long down and distance again.
Well, one of the new things this year that the State High School League is doing is they're going to a play clock, and it's starting as soon as that play in front of it ends. So before it used to trigger, once they marked the ball, spotted the ball. So it's one thing to keep an eye on here, especially early in the season as offenses get going, is those delay of game penalties.
Hand off to Ruland, trying to bounce this outside, and it's just a red wall in front of him. He'll lose maybe a yard. Did well just to get back to the 49.
That's not a fun feeling as a running back. You get out out to the edge there, and you know there's nowhere to go, and you know you're going to get hit pretty hard. And he did a good job that time of just getting back to almost the line of scrimmage.
Oh, it's 3rd down and 16 for the second consecutive set of downs here. Dieter's was able to pick up the first one, but I don't think they want to take their chances on too many of these tonight. Going to pitch this one to Ruland. A little sweet play to the left, and diagnosed well. Taking him down was Marnaro.
Pretty impressive defense by both teams tonight, but I tell you, you see a wall of red jerseys every time Nick Ruland is trying to run that football. They've done an excellent job at containing him so far.
Matches his longest game of the day at just 4 yards, and another punt for Freddie Brophy. Well, each drive, and again, some of those were fumbles on the first play, but each drive has had one play that just sort of killed the drive.
Nice punt.
Inside the 10, Standifer picked it up and escaped. Gets it back out to the 11. That was dangerous for a lot of reasons. He was at least able to get away from the first couple tacklers.
And people talk about special teams like they're not that important, but you got a good punter. I mean, look how that field position was just flipped there. You're right at midfield. A lot of punters in high school get 20, 15 to 30-yard punts. That time he punts it all the way down. They're going to hold him, within the 13-yard line. That's just a big-time play, especially in a defensive battle like we have going so far.
Brophy was the punter last year. 16 punts and put 4 of them inside the 20-yard line, so pretty good percentage. And look at the formation here. Everybody tight. One wide receiver as they try to get out from the shadow of the goalposts. Hand off inside to Petty. Out to about the 15.
They like to run Petty, it looks like, on those quick traps or quick dives right up the middle. And he's so strong and explosive, even on a play like that where there just wasn't much room. His momentum carries him forward for a gain of 3 or 4.
Second down and 7. 9 minutes to go here in the first half. Scoreless. These teams have been somewhat their own worst enemies on offense, but good defense too. This time it's Marinaro. Room out to the right and get to that second level. There's not a lot of bodies out there. He's close to a first down.
Well, I like how that kid runs. He's full of energy. He's running low to the ground. You can see he's a well-built running back, strong legs. And Arneson there for Orono did a nice job of just grabbing onto his feet and holding on, or that could have been a much bigger gain.
Was enough for a first down, just enough. To the 22.
I'll tell you, you see a difference right now when Marinaro's getting the ball. He's not waiting. He is just going and attacking. And sometimes that can just get defenses off timing, off balance a little bit. You get those 5-6 yard plays.
This time it's Petty on first down. And he's tough to bring down. He's up to the 27. Took 3 or 4 guys. Pardon me, that was Malik Robertson, another back there.
I'll tell you, they got some pretty good size for their running backs as far as just battering people. I mean, 200 pounds, 190, 215. You wear a defense down by doing that. You might not see it now, but by the time fourth quarter rolls around, especially on a team that doesn't have a lot of depth, you can wear them down.
They told us running back by committee, and they weren't kidding. That's the 6th different back to touch the ball. Peterson rolling, throwing. He's a wide open man down there. And Wolf kind of checked up on the football a little too much.
Well, that time he had his pick of who he wanted to throw to. There were 2 receivers wide open, Malik Robertson and George Wolf. And Wolf that time, I think, kind of underestimated. He came back towards the ball, maybe not knowing if the arm strength was going to be there on the run to get it down. But kind of a weird developing play action. You see Wolf taking those couple steps in, that throws the timing off.
There was a penalty on the play, so it's going to be a first down anyway for Benilde-St. Margaret's. Roughing the passer. It moves it out to the 43, so that'll take some of the sting out of it for Wolf. But had he kept in stride, he might have scored on that play.
I'll tell you what, that's a great strategy. Sometimes to soften a really good defense up, you got to take shots down the field. Even if you don't convert, you at least get the defense thinking about that, and that can soften them up sometimes.
And into the neutral zone come the Spartans again. That's going to be another 5 yards. Falling forward was Charlie Brophy, younger brother of Freddie.
Well, and that's another thing you do against an aggressive defense. You try to get them off sides. Early in the year or two, you're anxious, you're still ready, the adrenaline's flowing in that first game. If you can use it to your advantage and defensively, you got to be disciplined.
1st and 5 at the 48-yard line. This time it's Royal out to the right. This tight formation for Benilde-St. Margaret's has unlocked something here. Gain of 7 on that play.
You can see when they do that formation, there's about 18 bodies within 7-8 yards of each other, and if you are able to bounce it outside, there's room out there. Well blocked up front by that Benilde-St. Margaret offensive line.
Like the fact that Royal, who fumbled his last attempt, got another chance. If you got a 6 running back committee, sometimes you make a mistake, it's easy to end up on the bench.
Yep.
Early in the season, coaches sticking with him. And this time they go back to number 11, Malik Robertson, the 5'10", 180-pound junior. He's another hard runner.
Well, they're having good success on that quick trap, that quick dive. And sometimes you got an aggressive defensive line. They get up the field so well, You get those quick dives, you can kind of use their aggressive nature against them, and you get 5-6 yards out of those kind of plays.
Johnny Woodford is the only wide receiver, number 19, split out to the top of the screen. Last year's leading receiver, 13 catches. But mainly a decoy right now is Royal trying to cut it back up the field. And even he's going to drag a few tacklers with him. And we've got a helmet down as Dieter's lost his helmet, so he'll have to go out for a play. Just shy of the first down, a gain of 4 for Royal.
Well, that's the play we saw early to start this game, Charlie, is those quick handoffs for some pulling guards trying to get outside, and Benilde had success running that play.
Royal, just a sophomore, you can see when he touches the ball, he's trying to make a big play happen. But he looks athletic enough that he might do it at some point. And the Spartans take a timeout. First time in this game, a defense is on its heels just a bit. Still a long way to go for Benilde-St. Margaret's, but this drive started at the Red Knights' 12-yard line. It's been the most impressive drive of the night so far.
And don't forget, aided by that roughing the passer penalty too. That was big. But yeah, it's the first time really in this ball game, Charlie, where you feel like an offense has some rhythm to it. Running inside, running outside. We saw him try to take the top off on a deep pass too. So nice balance, nice rhythm going so far for Benilde-St. Margaret's offense on this drive.
If you are Orono, what do you change defensively?
And sometimes it can be just as simple as where you line up, right? How you're shading those guards when you're running that quick dive. I think if you can always eliminate the inside run, you dictate to an offense of where they can go with the ball, then they become predictable. Right now, when you're running inside successfully, you're running that pulling sweep as well successfully, you're playing a guessing game. So, whether it's just shading your tackles a little bit different, you're bringing your linebackers in a different gap, you got to change a little something here and try to throw Benilde-St. Margaret off. This is a big third down, Charlie. If they can win this Orono's defense, this is big.
You would think 2-down territory here with the way the defenses have played, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to matter as Marinero goes right up the middle, and he's inside the 30. And these runs for Benilde-St. Margaret, so when the pile hits, they're starting to get 2, 3, 4 extra yards.
And that's where the depth that we talked about can come in. These defensive linemen, some of them are playing offensive linemen as well. You start wearing down, it's hot out there, it's your first game, you're not quite in game shape. And you can see that pile. I mean, that's just great strength. And as a running back, all you young players out there watching this, keep those legs driving. Those yards add up.
They marked him down at the 31. So it's a gain of 5, but that's plenty enough for a first down. This time they go back to Royal. Cutting it upfield, he lost the ball again, and Orono's going to recover. The third Benilde-St. Margaret's fumble. And it is Charlie Brophy who falls on this one. That's 2 fumbles for Royal. We talked about the first one. He gets another chance, but that's tough.
Yeah, and the problem was that could have been a big play. They had it running the sweep here to the short side of the field. You can see an unbalanced line. He's got blockers out in front of him. He's got great speed. And how about that? I'll tell you who made that play, Teddy Dieters. Number 4 for Orono. Watch him go in with his hands and strip that ball.
So some learning experiences for the sophomore running back tonight, and Orono takes over at its own 23 after a bend but don't break performance from the defense.
Well, turnovers, they can just change the complete nature of a game, the course of a game, just like that.
So Dieters, after causing the fumble, his throw nearly right into the arms of Micah Cade. He was trying to go to Graham Beltran at the receiver spot. I'm not sure Beltran was looking for it.
Well, they were not on the same page there. I think it looked like Dieters was expecting a short, quick slant. And Beltran that time either didn't cut when he was supposed to or just never got his body turned around, and that nearly an interception.
So second down and 10. Dieters 0 for 5 on the young season.
If I'm Orono, I'm going back to that screenplay that was effective a few drives ago, even though it was negated by a holding penalty. Great execution and timing. See if they go back to that here in this first half.
Dieter's going to throw again. Here they come, and they've got him, and he gets away.
He's got
a man wide open down the field. It's Gustafson who shoved out of bounds at the 43, and that was a magic act by Dieters because he was dead in the water.
What a play. Two things that stand out. One, his footwork to elude that pressure. But two, watch this, Charlie. Watch as he spins back to his right side here. Right there. Watch his eyes downfield. Right away he goes. A lot of young quarterbacks, especially guys that are making their first couple starts, they immediately forget to look downfield. They're just trying to run. He kept his eyes downfield and off the run delivered a strike. That's a confidence builder for the Orono offense.
Charlie Dieterding is going to see that play in his sleep tonight. He had him in the backfield. One of the captains of this Benilde-St. Margaret's team, number 8. A big play to keep this drive alive. Jet sweep, and it's Gustafson again, and they've got him strung out just blasted over there. Malik Robertson stepped up. He didn't have the initial hit, but he certainly finished it off.
Wow. And Marinaro was there too. Great job. The red jerseys just stringing that ball out, forcing it wide and wide and wide, and then knowing you got cannons coming from that defensive secondary. Watch this, right up, bam, right there. That's some great defense.
Bounced off one of his own linemen a little bit.
And I like what Orono did, a little pre-snap motion, just trying to change the rhythm of the offense a little bit. It just didn't work.
Screenplay again, and this time Ruland was caught up with one of the linemen and couldn't catch it, and he had Green in front of him.
I love that they went back to that because, again, that was there. But this is why offenses struggle early on in the year, because even when you're in practice, the timing, the speed is all different than when you're in a real football game. And you can tell Orono's offense just a little bit off in their timing. Those are plays that they're going to go back to later in the year that I bet they'll have ironed out that could go for some big gains.
And you're running screenplays against your own defense, I would imagine, so you get used to the speed of your lineman, not somebody else's lineman. And that's going to be another 5 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 20. And again, there's a very good possibility these teams will meet again come playoff time. And this is certainly a week 1 game right now with the mistakes we've seen. It would be a very different story, you'd think, in October or early November.
And as a coach, you want to win this game more than anything, but you don't mind some of these sloppiness because then you're going to have your kids' attention later in the week. You come out and you're dominating, you don't make many mistakes. Kids can kind of think, hey, we're great. The coaches definitely are going to have their attention this week.
Dieter's going deep. He's got a man. Arneson down the sideline. Keeps his feet, and he will score.
Wow.
On 3rd and 20, a 65-yard touchdown pass for the Spartans.
Wow, what a throw, what a throw, what a throw. Great touch that time by Dieters, and Arneson, 6 foot, 170 pounds. There was no one in front of him, and he kept going. Great job fighting through that arm tackle and able to get to the end zone. That is a huge answer by this Orono offense.
He's had a good first half. He's recovered a fumble. Now he has the game's only touchdown.
And not only that, but you give a defense a 1-score lead in a game like this, and all of a sudden they're energized. They're going to start playing with even more confidence, too.
Nice touchdown, kid. Now go be the end guy on the extra point formation, and it's put through by Jack Coleman. And nearly getting to it was Micah Cade. He's frustrated with himself, but it is 7-0 in favor of the Spartans. Here's the touchdown again.
Yeah, and really the biggest difference, he had time here. You can see that, no red jerseys under pressure. And they're just running straight seam patterns, right? And you can see the defensive safety was occupied in the middle of the field, but one of the few times all night Teddy Dieters didn't have red jerseys in his face, able to relax, set his feet, and wide open down the sideline too.
You could see him pre-snap too, looking everywhere but at Arneson. He knew how open he was before the play started.
Yep, no, that's big. 65 yards, we talked about it too, Charlie. You feel like one big play could turn this whole game, and now what you do is by doing that, you put the pressure on the Benilde-St. Margaret offense. Hey, you don't got to get it back all at once, but you start in the back of your mind thinking, hey, we got to get it back. We got to get it back. And if you're Orono's defense, too, with that 1-score lead, now you're playing with a ton of confidence.
Tail the two sidelines there. You saw John Hanks, and then you see Arneson, all smiles on the other side. just like that, Dieters, who missed on his first 5 passes, his last 3, he's 2 of 3 for 88 yards and a touchdown. His first career touchdown pass, didn't have one last year. Hard tackle on the return by David Wilford as he throws down Dylan Rash.
Well, and that's what turnovers do too. You got to remember the drive before that, Benilde-St. Margaret was marching down the field, looking like they were going to get the first score of the game, and of course the fumble by Royal changes everything. So if you're Benilde-St. Margaret, you don't got to change a whole lot. You've had success moving the football. You just got to take care of the football.
3 turnovers in this first half, 1 for Orono. But still lots of time. 5.5 minutes to go in this first half. And the Red Knights did move the ball very well on their last drive, and now they come out in a different look here with a couple of wide receivers and out of the shotgun. And off to Marinaro. Trying to turn the corner, gets a block, has a first down, and he will blast his way into the secondary and does not go out of bounds. He's down to the 33-yard line.
That's like a freight train coming at you. Let me ask you this, Charlie. Would you take that on after 30 yards of steam?
Not a chance.
And Marinaro answers the call for this Benilde-St. Margaret offense, and he got outside. Nice job blocking, too, sealing that outside off, and you can see he almost gets tackled right here. Does a nice job of eluding that. And there was a key block, too, that time by Hansen. And look at him finish that run off.
That was Dieters. He just ran over. And, of course, it was Marinaro who had that last shot at Arneson on that touchdown pass, maybe taking out some frustration. Now they swing it out, rewarding the block of Hansen. And he is inside the 20. Ball comes out, but it's because his face mask was nearly ripped off.
And I love how Benilde-St. Margaret has answered on this drive. Explosive run, that time a quick throw, a great block too by the wide receiver out there, able to get to the outside. That's a big play. And the attack on the penalty as well.
It's a gain of 20 on the play. Hansen, who had that subtle but key block on that last play, gets rewarded and picks up 20 yards.
I'll tell you a couple of things. You know, Orono's done such a nice job defensively, just not letting the ball get outside. There, the last 2 plays, very explosive, both to the outside.
A run of 38 for Marinaro and a passing play for 20. 7 more tacked on the penalty. Red Knights are in business. They'll throw it outside, and this time getting thrown down immediately was Swenson. Right on top of him was Nick Rulin as he tried to cut it back in.
Well, that's a dangerous throw, right? Across the field like that. Ball hangs in the air a little bit. That could be intercepted, but showing off a very strong arm, Nick Peterson, and a gain there. Just not much after the catch.
Gain of 3, second down and goal. Imagine this is Marinaro country.
I was going to say, you got a horse like that who moves that pile forward. I get him the rock and let him do the rest.
Let him run angry right into the end zone. They do it, and he's not giving up, is he? He's down near the 1. They touched him first, maybe at about the 5. So another gain of 3. Marinaro was 66 yards rushing in this first half on 7 carries. Only 1 of them for double-digit yards, but he's falling forward on every play.
Left side here, Marinaro to the left.
Up the middle, stacked up, nice play. Leading the charge was John McCuskey. And that's going to bring up 4th and goal.
And I'm wondering if Orono is seeing something. Every time Benilde-St. Margaret goes to an unbalanced line, which means they only have a guard and tackle on one side, they are running to the strength of that. And that time it looked like Orono's defense slanted right to that direction. And that's not an easy thing when you got to meet Joe Marinaro at the line of scrimmage and then move him backwards. But a nice job by this defense. Actually
lost a yard on the play. So that makes it an interesting decision. 4th and goal from the 2.
Well, kind of the mantra of this game, Orono's bending, right? But just not breaking, giving up yardage, giving up drives, but either getting a turnover or a big penalty against the Benilde offense. It's setting them back. And here, a couple of explosive plays. You get down to the goal line, and here we 4th down. You know, and if you're Benilde, you know, little play action. Do you run a reverse, try to get the ball outside and just play the speed game and see if you can get one of your fast backs into the end zone.
One of the guys that we haven't seen on the field on this drive is Petty. He's down right in front of us. Looks like he's trying to walk off something, so I don't know if he took a knock somewhere. They are going to go for it, Marinaro, and it will be Robertson in the backfield. Only wide receiver is Swenson.
And remember that quick dive, that quick trap has been successful with Malik Robertson, so keep that in the back of your mind here as you watch this. 2 yards, 4th down, big play.
3:33 left in the first half, but as Ryan said, this play is huge. They give it to Marinaro. He's going to try to cut it to the outside. Has to go backwards. Now he's got to fight for yardage, and they're going to stack him up. Graham Beltran forced him back, and he just couldn't gain the yardage back. And it looked like Arneson might have had the tackle.
I'll tell you, that's exactly defensively. Those are the drills you work on. Watch him string this ball out wide. And just an excellent job right there of forcing the cutback, and you trust that your defense is pursuing down the line. That's why not letting the ball get to the outside is so huge, because you don't have help to the outside. If you can set that and force that running back to come back to the middle of the field, team defense is what wins plays, and that was team defense executed at its best. Bend but don't break. Orono's defense done it all first half.
2 key drives there, the long touchdown pass and then the goal line stand. Now they've got to get out from their own goal line, and Dieter's trying the QB sneak and tripped a little bit, but he will fall forward for about a yard.
If he does a trip, he's got 5 or 6 yards on that play. I like the play call. Get a little motion, you get the defense spread out, and you go right up the middle. And I think if you're Orono at this point with 3 minutes, 7 seconds left in the first half, you just want to hold on to the ball. Let's go to halftime up 7, the way our defense has been playing. You don't want to turn the ball over here and give Benilde a chance to strike again before the end of the half.
Ryan's going to talk to both coaches at halftime, and there's going to be a lot to talk about. Ruland up the middle, maybe another yard. If you're Benilde, as they do take a timeout here, you get a stop on this play, you're going to get a short field.
Yep. No, this is big 3rd down. If you're Orono and you can convert this 3rd down and just keep that clock running, get to halftime. This is where if I'm Orono too, I'm going with a hard snap count. See if I can pick up an easy, kind of a cheap 5 yards. Try to get that defensive line to jump off sides.
That leaves Benilde-St. Margaret's with 1 timeout.
And you got to think too, if you're Orono, let's just put the ball in Teddy Dieter's hands. He's shown the ability to make the right play, and obviously the supreme athleticism. He's picked up a couple first downs with his legs, and of course the big strike through the air with his arm. But he seems to make the right play, and he's got such great athletic ability. If I could get him out in space somehow, I just trust that he would get the first down.
I need to talk to John Hanks, by the way. I want that sweatsuit. He looks good.
I like that, and the hat backwards. He looks like a football coach.
It's football time.
Yep.
They give it to Ruland, but the snap was fumbled, and they're not going to get anything out of it. So Benilde-St. Margaret's will give themselves another chance here.
Well, and that's just great job defensively. 3 quick plays, you get the stop. 2:39, you got no timeouts, but you're going to get the ball at that midfield or even better at the 40-yard, the opponent's 40-yard line. And I'm bringing pressure too after the punt here. See if you can't get a big special teams play.
Never discount the blocked punt in high school football. You've already seen one tonight. I did a game last night. There was a blocked punt that ended up as a touchdown in that game. They happen all the time.
Well, and the big difference is, in the pros and even at high-level college, you always trust the snaps, it seems like, right? In high school, you just never know. And they're a little bit slower. Sometimes the punter doesn't get it off as quick. So, yeah, we've seen a blocked punt already tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of red jerseys going hard to try to pick a piece of this ball up.
And Standifer, one of the return men, along with Leishow. Both of them are excellent athletes. I've already seen Standifer come close a couple of times. And with so much pressure, there's not going to be a whole lot of players coming at him downfield. So an intriguing punt here. Good snap. They do get it away. It's not a deep kick. Standiford will take a fair catch at the 33. He might have been able to return it, but just making sure they will have good field position, and they do.
And you know what? It's okay. He wanted to make sure he caught that ball, right? The last thing you want to do is have another turnover. So, yes, he probably could have made a play out of that, but as a coach, I trust that. I trust that decision-making. And now with 2 minutes, 33 seconds, remember, too, clock stops after first downs. This is an eternity in high school football with this short field. If you're Benilde, you want to punch that ball in and get some kind of momentum, some kind of confidence for your offense going into halftime.
3 wide receivers on the near side. Peterson wants to throw. He'll try the one-on-one coverage on the far side, and it's broken up. Just reaching up to get a hand in there was Beltran. But Beltran's lined up at about 8 different spots, I feel like, on defense. That time he was one-on-one with Dylan Rash.
Well, and he's 6'4", so he's got great length. I'll tell you what, that was one of those rare plays where everything was really pretty high level. Great throw. Thrown only where his receiver could make that play. Almost made a great catch and really well defended. That was just a good football play by both sides.
So 2nd down and 10 from the 32. Both quarterbacks warming up a little bit after slow starts. Peterson's completed 3 of his last 5. Marinaro once again falling forward inside the 30. Gain of 3.
Got just some violent hits and collisions there. Anytime Marinaro gets that ball, he's just driving forward hard. It's fun to watch.
He's usually the hitter. Yeah. Swing it outside.
Nice.
Ball foot in the ground to turn it upfield for Hansen. He has the first down. Charlie Hansen's had a couple nice plays in this quarter.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was just a great cut. You see him going to the outside. He just plants. Defense over pursues. Great cut up the field. And a big-time first down. Much needed first down.
Gain of 9. Still a lot of time. 1:52. Peterson double clutches this time. Had a man over the middle, decided not to throw it. Now he's going to try it again, and he had it in the end zone. It went right through the hands of Zach Swenson. Well, he changed his mind about 5 times on that play.
Well, he did just a heck of a job just avoiding the sack there early on. Both quarterbacks doing a nice job of being elusive, you know, and making pressure miss. And Peterson rolling to his right as a left-handed quarterback. Not easy to do, but he gathered himself and he put one on the money that time. And again, receivers got to help your quarterbacks out a little bit.
So 2nd down and 10.
2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Rednecks.
Handoff inside Marinaro, and he ran right into Strigo. Slowed him up. Still turned it into at least a modest gain. 3rd and 8.
I'll tell you, as hard as he runs, Orono, they're a really good tackling team early on in the season too. You don't always see that, but they do a nice job. They hold on, and then they're very good team defense. They're helping each other out, gang tackling. And that's what you got to do against good running backs.
3rd down, slant over the middle, and this time Swenson held on inside the 5 for a first down. Arneson was there and got a hand on the ball, but Swenson, who dropped one in the end zone just a second ago, sets them up 1st and goal.
Well, that's what you got to do. You make your quarterback believe in you by making a catch like that. That ball was behind him too.
Gain of 13. Now they run it up the middle, reaching for the goal line. Marinaro touchdown. They couldn't do it on the last drive. This time they don't waste any time on 1st and goal, right up the gut.
Well, I'll tell you, I like what they did. They went fast-paced that time, quick tempo. After that big catch there by Swenson, they go right without a huddle, right to the line of scrimmage, and you give it to that young man. And you can see he's pumped up as he should be. Marinaro. The bowling ball gets into the end zone.
Hyde on for the game-tying extra point. He knocks it through, and with 1:01 left in the first half, all tied at 7, all defense until late here. Great job by Benilde-St. Margaret's to put themselves in position for this, and you see a little bit of everything from Marinaro. Up over the top, And then some power to reach for that goal line. That's a good tackler, Joey Tilzer, who had him in his hands too. Tilzer last year led the team with 76 takedowns. Marinaro, his first rushing touchdown, likely of his career. He was not really one of the running backs last year. And he's been all over this game so far. Still 1:01 remaining in this first half, so we'll see what Orono decides to do. They get the football to start the second half. That may inform the decision making. Of course, a lot depends on where they end up with the football. Marinaro accepting all manner of congratulations on the sidelines. He has been all over this game and really has emerged as the feature back for Benilde-St. Margaret's a little bit by default. They have a couple guys on the sidelines. Petty nursing an injury. Royals had a tough night with a couple of fumbles. Hyde with the kickoff. They'll try a little bit of a reverse here. Arneson takes the handoff from Gustafson out across the 30. Upended there by George Wolf near the 34. So 53 seconds left, and Orono with some decent field position. First and 10 from the 34. Dieters will have 5 wide receivers, so it looks like Orono is going to go for it. 3 split out to the top of your screen. Low snap, pressure coming, and Dieters just wisely throws it away. Yeah, Darnell McCree all over him. McCree has been in the backfield quite a bit in this game. Second down and 10.
Second down and 10.
Once again, Orono out of the shotgun. This time they do have a back in the backfield. Another low snap. And Dieters scrambling, and this time Dieterding, who missed him a few drives ago, makes absolutely sure. A huge loss, and that will probably end this first half right there as they lose 15 yards on the play. That low snap really doomed the play to failure. McCree got up a little slowly at the end of that as somebody landed on him. He's coming to the sideline now. Looks like he's all right. Clock running with 13 seconds remaining in the half. Orono not in a hurry. It looks like this one will, with a 3rd and 25 looming, go to halftime all square at 7 apiece. In fact, they will not run another play. It took a long time to get some points on the board in this one, but some fireworks late, and each team with a touchdown. Another close game between Benilde-St. Margaret's and Orono here from the home of the Red Knights. We are going to have Ryan Iverson at half with both coaches here. They huddle up for now. You see Dieters heading off. Fans get a chance to take a break a bit. Good first half here. Ryan will have John Hanks with him in just a second. And let's send it down to Ryan Iverson now. Ryan?
Thanks, Charlie. Coach, first game of the year. A lot of people talked about Orono's defense, but how about your defense? I thought you guys swarmed the football, played really well in that first half.
Made one mistake, just a simple mistake, not recognizing what formation and then not being where you're supposed to be. Just a lesson we'll learn.
One of the things I talked about is you have running back by committee during this game. You seem like you were starting to wear them down, moving the football, turnovers, which I know you hated to see early on, but you guys were wearing them down, running the ball effectively. What did you see that you liked?
Same thing. I think you take care of the football, you're going to be real successful. We were shooting ourselves in the foot for the first 3 drives, and then finally we got a nice drive. But the defense, I thought, played really well this half.
So you give up the touchdown. How big was that answer by your offense there coming down?
We had to. We just had to answer and let them know that we ain't going away.
You hear this crowd, you see everyone excited. How fun is it to have football season back?
Awesome.
All right, enjoy the second half, Coach. You bet. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks a lot, Ryan, and a lot to be happy about for John Hanks. Of course, he's not going to like the fumbles too much, but his team is in it thanks to the late touchdown, 7-7 at the half on CCX Sports.
These hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Great crowd on hand here at Benilde-St. Margaret's on a great night and a good game as well. 7-7 as we are eagerly anticipating the start of the third quarter. Charlie Beatty, Ryan Iverson up here in the booth. Ryan's also spending some time down on the field. He's a little bit of Mr. Everything tonight. And Ryan, like a lot of districts here in 2019, some realignment for the suburban red district, taking a look at who's in and who's out.
Yeah, it's always interesting how they decide this, but you can see a lot of the same clubs, of course, adding Cooper in there and getting rid of Richfield and St. Louis Park, and that's as competitive as it gets right there. Those are really 5 good teams, vying for it. And I'll tell you what, coaches, you want to be in a good set. You want to play good football, good competition all year round. That's how you get ready, to make a playoff run. You got to be competitive all year long. So this is as good a Class 4A football as there really is.
And of course, St. Louis Park, a team that also made the state tournament last year, a very surprise run for the Orioles as well. But Cooper, it's no slouch coming into the district. That's going to make things very, very tough. But John Hanks said it really well before the game. You play 8 exhibition games to get ready. He was talking about his brutal section that both of these two teams are in. You play 8 exhibition games to make sure that you're ready for that playoff season. Doesn't matter what your record is. There's a lot of teams that go into that playoff atmosphere with sub-500 records. By the time the playoffs are over, they're in the state tournament and maybe 8-5.
Well, my high school football coach, Mike Grant at Eden Prairie, always said football's a game of mistakes. And it's a crescendo. You're trying to build towards the end of the year by making less and less mistakes. And we've seen a lot of mistakes here in the first half of the first game, and we'll see a better second half, and you'll see a better second game, and so forth. So it's just about learning who you are, what's your identity, and how do you eliminate mistakes and get better as the season progresses.
Whatever happened to Mike Grant, by the way? Where's he at?
You don't hear much about his teams anymore.
His team got off to a great start last night, shutting out Roseville on the road. They'll play Woodbury next week. That should be a very good game.
Well, I love how everyone always says, Lakeville North and Eden Prairie and Wayzata, they're only good because they're so big, right? That's not the case. Those guys are brilliant football coaches, and more than anything, they're great teachers and they're great motivators. Kids want to play hard for them, and I got to tell you, the few minutes I spent with both of these coaches before the game and they're at halftime, I really love both of them and their personas and their attitudes, and they're both positive and excited. So this is just, like I said in the opening, it's just fun to be back in football season.
It's funny that people throw the size thing, especially at Lakeville North. It's actually one of the smallest 6A schools there is. There's only about 1,700 kids in the school. Lakeville itself, when they had the one school, that was gargantuan.
Yep.
Now the two are both pretty modestly sized for big schools.
No, it's really amazing, Charlie. Even, I graduated in 1998. How much of a football state this has become, and not just in the 6A, school, but here we're watching 4A and 5A. I mean, there's just a lot of great talent in the state of Minnesota.
A lot of it in this district and this section that these teams play in. As I mentioned, 3 straight state title winners coming out of this section, all different schools. You do see that a lot when you have dynasties. You think about a Caledonia and 2A. Of course, their sections had a 6-year run, but this is 3 different schools. Benilde-St. Margaret's, then Holy Angels, last year SMB.
Well, and you got to think, SMB dominated the state championship game, right?
And they barely got out of this section.
So you got to think either one of these teams, had they made it, probably would have been victorious. So it's a great section, a lot of good football. And I'll tell you, one of the things, the keys to keep an eye on is the offensive defensive lines here for Orono in the second half, just getting pounded on over and over. A lot of them playing both ways too. Are they in the right shape? Can they sustain here a whole nother half against a punishing running game here of Benilde-St. Margaret?
Orono will get the ball to start the second half. Booted deep by Hyde. Arneson, this time they fake the reverse. They pulled it off at the end of the first half. This time Arneson makes the right decision, cutting it back upfield. Boy, he's had an impressive game so far, and he's out to the 45-yard line. Seen him on offense with the big touchdown pass, defense with the goal line stand, now special teams.
Well, and you just find a way to get your great players a chance to make impactful plays, and he's certainly done that tonight. Arneson there, and a big, kickoffs are so big because they set the tone for the entire half. You get out to midfield. Even if your offense sputters here, Charlie, you've switched the field position game, so that's a big play.
Orono only 18 yards rushing in that first half, 88 yards passing, but that came on 2 plays.
Yep.
Their offense hasn't necessarily done a lot, but a chance for redemption here in half number 2, and they want to get this guy going. Rulin fighting for extra yards here, turns a negative into a positive at least as he gets 2.
Well, and to his defense, he just hasn't had a chance to get going. Even that play, to make something positive out of it, but he's getting hit the second he touches the ball. And you heard, Coach McPherson say at halftime, our offensive line's got to do a better job, and they got to get Nick Rulin going here, some positive yards, so they can have a little bit more balance to their offense.
Mentioned Rulin only ran for 48 yards on 4 carries last year, 1 touchdown. You would have thought he would have eclipsed that in week 1, but he might not. He doesn't have a carry longer than 4 yards tonight. Dieters to throw. Slant pattern. Arneson was open, and he let him.
Yep, he had him there. Good velocity on that ball, just a little bit low and out in front of him.
And that's all timing, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And something else to think about, Charlie, that people don't really realize, you go from playing in the daytime to now the lights. It is a little bit different, and it's harder to pick up the ball too as a receiver, even as a quarterback. Sometimes your lanes aren't as well. You got to get used to it. So that's another element that these guys aren't used to. You don't practice under the lights too often.
Option play. Dieters hedging a little bit. Now Rulin's going to try to reverse the field. This is going to be a disaster for Orono. It started out as a disaster, and it got progressively worse, and they'll lose 12 yards.
Well, and that's a dangerous pitch right there. You put that ball on the ground, you don't want to do that, but a nice job just making sure that a turnover didn't come out of it.
Adding to it, there's a player down on the far side of the field, and that is Dieters.
Uh-oh. That is not what you want to see.
Pointing to his left knee.
There's nothing, Charlie, I hate worse than seeing young kids holding a knee or an ankle. I hate it.
Tongue-in-cheek, talking about a disaster, losing 12 yards. This is an actual disaster if the quarterback is hurt. And, of course, he plays defensively as well.
Well,
he's forced to fumble tonight.
I'll tell you, you hope it's just an ankle sprain, and that sounds bad to say, but a lot of times they hurt really bad initially, you can get some more tape on it. It looks like he's able to walk off of it.
That's a good sign.
Yep.
Seems like he's gaining strength with every step.
Let's see if we can see if that left. I guess someone landed on it right there, and you can kind of see it in the bottom of our screen.
That was McCreed at, number 54. That's out Elijah Brown, who's 250 pounds. Looked like all of it came down on that left ankle.
Well, and to your point, too, he's obviously their quarterback. That's a huge loss, but he's a big member of their defense, too. So they're going to, hopefully, he's able to walk that off.
Penalty marker down. Not a great start for Orono. I think they might have broken the huddle with 12 players. So this will be punted back from the 30 on what's going to be 4th down and 25.
5-yard penalty. 4th down and 25 and 30. Brophy to punt.
Brophy's kick angled toward the sideline and straight out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. So they didn't get that field position flipped like you talked about because they went backwards from where they started. And it's up to the defense again.
You know, football is such a game of momentum. You know, Orono with that big pass touchdown. Seems like the way their defense was playing, you know, they're on a roll. All of a sudden, Benilde comes down and scores right before half, and it seems like they got the momentum back on their side. You have an injury to a star player here for Orono, the quarterback, Teddy Dieters, and you can kind of just sense that the energy on the Orono side is a little bit low right now. Their defense, again, is going to have to step up and either get a turnover or get some big stops.
Peterson. Marinaro has emerged as the feature back out of the committee. And wow, they blew the whistle on him, but he's still going, and he can't believe it. I've seen plays where they don't blow that whistle on very similar circumstances.
I'll tell you, the thing is, there's so many bodies in the middle of the field. If he is able to break through that first level, there's not much left. But watch his legs here. Watch him keep his feet going. You see his feet still moving and chopping. And with a guy like that, you know, he's 215 pounds. He's only 5'11", so he's got that low center of gravity, those strong legs. You got to gang tackle him, and you got to tackle him low.
Hard to tell on the replay if those players may have let go because they heard the whistle or if he actually broke out of that. Either way, tough call.
Keep an eye on Camden Royal back into the game here at running back.
He's going to get the call. Going to bust it outside, trying to turn the corner. And he's thrown down out of bounds at the 41. Picks up the first down, a gain of 10.
Well, that's a little thunder and lightning combination right there. You got the bruiser type in Marinaro, and then you send in Royal, who's got great speed, able to get to the outside and pick up a first down.
Didn't see Petty on the sidelines as they came out for the second half. He was banged up, didn't play much in that second quarter, if at all. So they're down one more body in that backfield, but they've got a lot of them. And they're starting to get some offensive groove going. They were, of course, stalled out on the goal line stand by Orono, but they've outgained the Spartans significantly in this game. It was the turnovers that really hurt them in that first half as Royal doesn't get much. Wrapped up on the play by Freddie Brophy.
You know, we saw this Orono defense in the first half give up some yardage, give up some plays, some first downs, but it seemed like whenever they were ready to kind of give up some points, it seemed like they got a turnover or there was a penalty or they got a big stop.
Second down and 10. Most of this game has been played in the Orono half, especially once the second quarter started. Swing it out to the outside. Marinaro in the passing game, brought down by Arneson. Maybe the two most noticeable players today coming together there, but it's a first down and a pickup of 12.
Yeah, great play design too. Marinaro goes in motion and he just goes right out to the flat, uncovered, easy throw for your quarterback, and Peterson puts it right on the money. It's just a nice rhythm and cadence right now to the Benilde-St. Margaret offense.
First and 10 from the 29-yard line. Back on the ground with Royal. And he's holding on to that football tightly, and he is going to get to the corner. Touchdown. Nice piece of redemption for the sophomore. A 29-yard touchdown run. Fumbled twice in the first half, makes the most of his third chance here in the second half.
And again, just a little change of pace there, and he's got great speed. That touchdown goes to the offensive line, really well blocked. And Camden Royal gets a nice seam into that second level, and it was off to the races, and he's going to win most of those. He's very, very fast. And you talked about it, given another chance after 2 turnovers in the first half, he makes the most of it there.
There you see one of the guys hugging him is Petty. I saw him hop from about his own 30-yard line with one shoe on to congratulate a fellow running back. That's a great teamwork moment right there.
You know, and the extra point is good, 14-7. It's kind of a cliche, Charlie, but football more than any other sport, it's about camaraderie, trust, relationships. And when guys generally are selfless and they care about other people having success, right? That's when you get greatness coming together. And, you know, for example, offensive line, they're not going to get their name in the newspaper, but watch how well this was blocked. Look at big fella down the field throwing blocks, great alley. And it's such an ultimate team game. And you talked about it. You see William Petty, I saw him hobbling back. I mean, that's just great teamwork.
Before the game, John Hanks talked about how much he really liked the attitude of his players. And he started by talking about his injured star, Isaiah Smith. He said he never stopped smiling. And Smith, in a cast on the sidelines with crutches, during one of the warm-up drills, a player ran into him. And he fell down, got up, picked his crutches up. There you see Isaiah Smith. Popped right back up, smiling the entire time. Just got clocked by one of his own teammates in no pads.
Well, you gotta get some contact in, you know.
Short pooch kick. Arneson will take it at the 17. And he gets 3 players to miss. Out across the 30, and a good open field tackle there, or would have been worse.
Yep. It was just a great change of direction and speed there. It looked like he was going to go back to his right and then went up the sideline left, but quickly brought down.
Micah Cade was the one who actually made the play. So Orono will start from its own 32, looking for some offensive answers here in this third quarter, down for the first time in this game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see who's quarterbacking right now for Orono. I don't see Teddy Dieters out there. I think it's going to, is it Graham, number 19?
It is.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen him just about everywhere else tonight, so Graham Beltran will start this drive as the quarterback. First play hands it off. Ruland coming around the corner, and he is drilled. Elijah Brown. And once again, one man stops him, and then the other man takes him down.
And you almost just start to feel for Nick Ruland. He's got to be frustrated, right? He had a great summer. They expect a lot out of him this year as a running back. He's got great speed and athleticism. He just hasn't had a chance to get it going. And I can tell you, as a defense, when you see the starting quarterback not in there, you pin your ears down and you're ready to go, because you know your offense is probably going to be limited a little bit.
Last 2 plays for Ruland have lost 20 yards. He is in negative territory for the night. Swing it out. Gustafson. Not going to get much, and he's whacked, and the ball comes out. The whistle went when the ball was in the air.
Yeah, that's... Wow.
Well, that would have been a touchdown as Micah Cade walked into the end zone. Like I said, it's early season for the officials as well, and just a little bit early.
I'll tell you, this Benilde-St. Margaret defense, they are flying to the ball. And when they're getting there, they're letting themselves be known and heard and felt. There's some hitting going on.
Second catch of the game for Gustafson, but it gains 0 yards. It's third down and 18.
Charlie, do you say this is more about the Benilde-St. Margaret defense or the lack of offense on the Orono side?
I would say it's all the defense right now. They're dictating play.
Yeah. You know, third and long, this is where you got to look for a screen or some type of trickery here, but you got to be careful. You don't want to turn the ball over.
Beltran, sidearm slinging, got a good arm, but he overthrows Arneson. He's a big kid, Beltran, 6'4". 210 pounds. If you're going to build a quarterback, it'd look a lot like that.
I'll tell you, great arm strength. He threw that ball a good 45 yards. Just a little bit overthrown on that, but I love taking the shot and again showing the ability there to stand in the pocket, take a hit, and really get that ball downfield.
Arm motion too. Kind of a three-quarter old John Elway arm.
Well, this is a part of the game here, Charlie, where you got to be careful if you're Orono. You're down at score again, all the momentum on the Benilde-St. Margaret side. Got to have good special teams coverage here, and then a good defense is here.
Good high kick. And no return for Lyshow. Good field position for Benilde-St. Margaret's at its own 45.
Don't you feel like the way Benilde-St. Margaret's playing defense, if they were to get another score, really puts a lot of pressure on that Orono offense.
And again, you look at this and you might say, well, the game turned because of a quarterback injury, but Orono is being shut down before the injury happened, so this defense has been doing it all night long.
Yep. Well, it looked like Benilde-St. Margaret found something there with kind of a two-back combination of Marinaro and also with Royal. See if they stick with those two, that combination of speed and power.
Marinaro in the backfield right now. Pardon me, no, that was Royal. They swing it out to the far side. Complete this time to Dylan Rash. Pickup of 9.
And what I love there is to play action. It's an easy throw for your quarterback. Now he's in a nice rhythm. I'm not sure Dick Peterson what his numbers are lately, but he's completed a number of completions in a row because they're not hard level throws. They're easy throws, and he's given his receivers a chance to not only make the catch but then do something with the ball. He's been very accurate with it as well.
6 of his last 8. It's a guy who completed about 40% of his passes last year. This time Royal struggling for the corner and an open field play by Arneson again, and Arneson now comes up hobbling. And this is what Orono just can't afford. I mean, not only are they not necessarily deep, but these are key players that are going down.
That was a phenomenal effort by Arneson there to make that tackle. Andrew Royal's extremely fast. Looked like he was going to get to the edge. That was full out diving effort. It almost looked like it happened after the tackle, didn't it?
It's a good sign as he's gotten back up twice, but it looks like they're stretching him for cramps. And you can understand why somebody like him would be cramping tonight.
And that's the one negative of playing in warmer weather in your first game. You're never quite in game shape because you can't simulate it. But watch the extension here, the all-out dive. That's just beautiful, beautiful tackle.
When you have to fully extend like that, you cramp yourself sometimes. But that's a good sign because he got up, went back down, got up again and went back down and was holding the front of his leg.
I could use a calf rub like that right now.
I'm not going to. First of all, we don't have enough room for that where we are.
Great to see him running off on his own power. Imagine he'll get some hydration, maybe get a banana in and be right back out there.
Might be the first play he's missed all game on either side of the football. 3rd down and 2 coming up for Benilde-St. Margaret.
Well, this is a big play. You know, if you're Orono and you can get a stop here and you get the ball back, if you're Benilde-St. Margaret, you extend this drive and keep that pressure on this defense.
Hand off to Royal, and he has the first down, dragging a good tackler with him, Joey Tilzer.
I'll tell you, really impressed with the Red Knights, their running backs, how they keep their legs going, they keep driving forward. So often you see running backs, as soon as they're going to come to contact, they stand up and they stop driving. I'll tell you, for a guy that's not as big, Canada Royal, 5'9", 160 pounds, you see him keep those legs driving, piling forward for those first down. Those extra yards continue to add up as the game goes on.
Is some of that the fatigue factor, however?
Absolutely. And that's where running back by committee can be a great thing. You keep all these guys relatively fresh.
This time Peterson keeps it. He's got a big hole out there, but there is a penalty marker down.
It's going to come back, but that's a great play call. Peterson has not kept the ball at all tonight, so that was an excellent ball fake, and he had an opening there.
penalties are some of what did Benilde-St. Margaret's in the first half when they didn't have the fumble problems. Haven't had that lately, and they've been scoring points.
Great ball fake.
I think it might have been behind that. Yeah. A little tough to see, but they mark it off back to their own 48-yard line. So it's essentially a part of their 47-yard line. So it's about an 11-yard penalty.
Well, that's a big break for Orono. Now you get an uncomfortable down and distance. Can you get another big play and somehow get a stop this momentum a little bit?
Peterson to throw. Might have been holding again there, as it looked like somebody had a big piece of jersey and then he threw it into a crowd, incomplete.
Yeah, dangerous throw. He tried to plant, really drive that ball, and it sailed on him a little bit. Good coverage that time by Orono. That's a hard level to get the ball in high school football because linebackers are getting depth, so you got to get it up high enough where you get it over them. But if that ball sails, it can be an interception for those safeties or D-backs. I'm impressed with the arm strength of Nick Peterson tonight. He can sling it, and he's been pretty accurate most of this game.
So that brings up second down and 20. Maybe more like 21, and they give it to Marinaro, running around Strigo, and he is across midfield, but it's going to be third and long.
You see how he finishes that? I mean, it's just like he's shot out of a rocket. He gets up hobbling a little bit too.
Yeah, he might be cramping.
Yeah.
Yep. He certainly, like Arneson, it makes sense. He had a little push there from Bobby Strigo, who's not only a great football player, but like his brothers, an excellent wrestler. Turned down a wrestling scholarship from Michigan, where his brothers are on the wrestling team, to play football in Minnesota next year. He's had a relatively quiet game tonight. Now we got a timeout. I think Orono didn't really know where to line up on 3rd and 16.
Well, part of that too can be to injuries, right? You got different guys maybe playing a position they're not as comfortable with, and you get a call coming in and you're not sure where to go. And again, part of that's just being early in the year. Part of it is with those key injuries too that we've seen. Well, it looked like Noah Arneson was back in the game that time for Orono, which is a great thing to see.
4:03 to go, third quarter. Here's what's coming up on CCX Sports. Volleyball on Wednesday night. That's a big one. Lakeville North at Champlin Park. Thursday night, Armstrong at Hopkins. Thursday night, football for the second straight week. And then Friday night, Edina and Wayzata. That's going to be a monster game. Wayzata got off to a great start. And then soccer coming up Tuesday the 10th from Park Center, Champlin Park at Park Center. A lot of good games coming up on CCX.
Who did Wayzata get last night?
I'm trying to remember. They won big, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a good year. I think they're going to be real solid. They got
Blaine was the team they beat.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim Paulson. Our spotter slash I guess everything. Jim's Mr. Everything. 3rd and 16. Peterson to throw. Pressure is on. Gets away from Brophy. Now he's going to run it. And he might get it.
Wow.
First down, Peterson, and inside the 30, finally shoved out of bounds, and here comes a flag. They're going to add more onto this. It's already a 21-yard run.
We talked about Teddy Dieters being extremely athletic, making a couple plays with his legs. But how about that? Nick Peterson, watch this ball fake right here, just enough where the defender leaves his feet. And then right here, great cut, and he's got good speed. He just outruns, great stiff arm there. See, tangled up, and there was no flag on that for a late hit. It looked like the referee was going to throw it, but
they pulled it back,
huh?
Yep. Well, Wilford did start inbounds, but I thought maybe the frustration carrying over there. Handoff inside, and they go back to this time Malik Robertson. We haven't seen forever, and now we get a flag. That came out from the head official. I think tempers are starting to get up in this game, which has been physical all night.
Yep. I think Orono is starting to get frustrated, right? You got 3rd and 21 and the quarterback runs. That's a frustrating type of a play.
There's a gain of 1 for Robertson. Now what's the penalty?
Oh, they got unsportsmanlike conduct on Benilde-St. Margaret.
Well, I did see John Hanks screaming at his players after the play, and that tells you which side it was on. That's a big penalty. They were driving. It'll still be second down, I believe, because it's after the play, although they've got first down on the far side.
Well, and you know, that's one thing Coach Hanks at film tomorrow is going to talk about, beating ourselves, penalties. And again, how many times tonight, Charlie, have we seen a good drive by the Red Knights here and just negated by a penalty and putting them in a really hard down and distance?
And it will be second down. They did just change the stick on the far side. 2nd and 23 from the 40. Robertson and Marinaro are in the backfield. And they go to Robertson, running left, cuts it back up the middle, and they were waiting for him. Brophy. And now Brophy's got to make sure he doesn't throw him down, and the flag's going to stay in the pocket here, and the Red Knights don't agree with that. The whistle did go, and you got to be careful, especially after they just had one on the other side.
You know, every referee, the officials are going to be very looking at late hits.
Robertson, the ball carrier. Very short.
Progress definitely stopped that time. Got to the 38, so it's 3rd and 21 after a gain of 2.
And this is where, if you're Orono, you just got to have contain here. No big plays. Let's get a stop, get the ball back here to our offense.
Very much a running formation here for Benilde-St. Margaret. They might be playing field position. Peterson stumbles, and he's down at the 45. Good measure. Charlie Brophy landed on him. And he is 250 pounds.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that does not feel well, especially when the football is underneath your stomach like that. That's when you can get the wind knocked out of you.
Looked like he got his feet caught up with one of his linemen going back, and that makes it a definite punting situation. So after all that, Orono holds, and you know, Beltran, we saw that arm, and if they are going to have to throw it downfield at some point in this game, all it's going to take is one big play. They already have a 65-yard touchdown pass.
No, that's a great point. By getting a stop and keeping it a one-score game, that's all you are. You're one big play away from tying this ball game up. So I think if you're Orono, you got to stay.
The ball's on the ground, but nobody was coming after it. Hyde got it away left-footed, and this is going to be a pretty good punt down to the 17.
Surprised Orono wasn't bringing more pressure just because of the difficulty that the Red Knights have had snapping the football.
That ball was on the ground for a long time.
And the old left-handed kick. I'll tell you what, Louis Hyde did a great job that time of not panicking. He was poised, and he realized there was no immediate pressure. He able to pick that up and still get it off. He made a great play out of something that could have been disastrous.
He's ambidextrous, apparently. So they'll start at the 19.
He kicks better left-handed than I do right-handed, and I'm right-handed.
The other thing that comes into play here, maybe, Joe McPherson told me this before the game, that Strigo would play in a position where he might touch the ball offensively, and we haven't seen that yet tonight.
I've seen him lined up at wide receiver, but nothing gone to him yet. You think with that great height and athletic ability, they might go to him.
And here they do on first down. And he couldn't slip the tackle of Robertson. Nice play. They do pick up 6 yards.
Well, he's got that great size that you talked about earlier, 6'4", 230 pounds, and actually he's got really good speed too. And with his strength, if he breaks one of these tackles, he could get out in that open field with those long strides. That's a nice form tackle on the outside.
So 2nd down and 4. Still a long time to go in this game. 1:20 remaining in this third quarter. Beltran's going to throw it again, this time off target. It looked like the same play.
The only thing you worry about here is you don't need to resort to passing every play, right? You got a 2nd and short or 2nd and manageable. You got to keep running the ball. You got to figure Nick Ruland at some point is going to get an opportunity to break one too. So you got to maintain that balance.
And Beltran in the game because of the injury to Teddy Dieters, the junior quarterback. Haven't seen him much on the sidelines over there, if they're still looking at him or what the story might be. but looks like he might not return in this one. This is the second straight drive for Beltran. Swings it out to the other side. Arneson hauls it in very close to the sticks, and they're going to give him a first down.
Tell you what, Beltran that time, third down, high pressure situation, and he slings it across the field, accurate for a first down. That's a big time play for your backup quarterback on the road in the first game of the season against a very good defense. That's big time.
3 straight plays of short passes.
Well, and I like that too.
Setting something up?
Well, they might be doing that, but if anything, you're giving your offensive line a breather. They don't have to pass block for that long. You're giving your quarterback some confidence, a chance to kind of work himself into the rhythm of the game, and you're giving these receivers a chance too to make some plays. Like you said, Charlie, one missed tackle could be a big-time play.
A little trouble with the snap. Now he's got to run for it. Penalty marker down. He's got to hold on to the ball here because it's coming back.
Well, if you take the penalty out there, that's where you just got to get rid of it, too. That's going to be holding.
Against the Spartans.
And penalties have killed both of these teams tonight.
Looks like Nick Marinaro had the pressure, number 52. We talked about Joe Marinaro all night long.
Well, just a relentless play, too, by Charlie Dieterding there. Number 8, just staying with it. I'll tell you, this Red Knights defense, too, with George Wolf as well, their linebacking core as good and as athletic as anyone. Aiden Davison, number 5, out there, too.
They took the sack, not the penalty. So they'll take the second down and 20. Might have been first down and 25 if it would have been a penalty. That's going to be the last play of the third quarter anyway. And Orono, after a decent start to this drive, a couple positive plays in a row, backed up again, second down and long as we start the fourth. 14-7, Benilde-St. Margaret's. One more quarter of play here on CCX Sports. Still a tight game as we go to the fourth on CCX Sports. Charlie Beatty, Ryan Iverson with you. Fantastic night for football. Great opening night weather-wise last night as well. Couldn't ask for 2 better days for football. Not too hot for August. Still pretty warm for football, but perfectly clear. And there you see on the Orono sidelines, that is Teddy Dieters getting looked at. And ice on that left, looks like ankle.
Probably a smart move to precautionary. You know, you don't want something like that lingering as the season goes on, too.
Screenplay maybe here. They do set it up. Ruland, flag comes out, and they were not going to get anywhere near the first down anyway, but just a little grab of the jersey out there. That's the second time a screenplay has been shut down because of a penalty. So it's going to make it second down and long again. It's a spot foul, but it's going to back them up all the way to the 15. So that's going to make this second down at 25. You said it earlier too, those screenplays, they're close.
Yep.
To really getting something out of one.
Well, and you could tell that time the timing was just a little bit different, a little bit not quite as crisp with the backup quarterback in there, but screens can be so effective, especially against a really aggressive defensive line too.
Beltran backed up, pressure coming, steps up, throws it downfield. Arneson is there, and he had it. Not sure if he would have been able to come down in bounds, but it would have been a first had he done so.
Well, that was by Beltran. Nice job stepping up and getting outside the pocket, buying some more time, and going to Noah Arneson too, and I mean, watch him throw them. He's got a great arm. He doesn't even really plant here off the run.
Yeah, I wish I could throw like that. That's impressive.
Yeah. To your point, I think even if Arneson had come down with that, he would have been a yard or two out of bounds.
Certainly the strength is there, and you wonder how much he's practiced at quarterback here early in the season, but he looks like he has some tools to play the position if they need him to.
I throw it deep here to Danny Strigal. If I'm taking a shot, give your great athlete a chance to just go up and make a play.
Instead, they're going to try a tunnel screen here, and it's eaten up. Leishau knocks it away from Arneson. That'll bring up 4th and forever, so they'll have to punt.
You know, if I'm Coach McPherson, I'm talking to my defense, hey, you might have to score us a touchdown. You might have to strip that football, get a big play, get a recovery, get an interception, get the momentum back to our side, because right now offensively there's just no rhythm. You know, and it's obviously hard to have rhythm when you have penalties keep backing you up.
Punt is away. Another fair catch, and it's dropped, and now they try to advance it, and that's a penalty.
And a flag on the play.
Derek Standifer. Once you call for that fair catch, you can't then move forward at all, even if you drop it. So a break for Orono penalty-wise. And again, you see the time there. There's a lot of time left in this football game. It's a one-score game. All it takes is one mistake, one slip-up, one big play offensively, a missed tackle somewhere, and all of a sudden, you got a football game again.
Right now, you just feel like this defense is going to have to come up. We talked about in pregame, Orono knowing they were returning a lot of firepower on this side of the football. They've played a pretty good, solid game so far, but they're going to have to come up, try to get a big play, and see if they can capitalize on that.
Backs them up to the 49-yard line of Benilde-St. Margaret's 5-yard penalty. Even if they hold on to win, you saw John Hanks there. He's got a lot to talk about come Tuesday when they practice again. Peterson hands off to Royal, who's had a really good second half, and he's got another first down inside the Orono 40.
Just a different gear when he's got the ball. He's got great footwork, great speed and quickness, and he can turn it up north and south extremely fast. Just a nice balance. I always talk, Charlie, with football and offense, it's balance, right? Not just throwing and running the football, but also how you run the football. And if you can run it inside, run it power, and then get it outside with speed and agility, you got really nice mix. And Benilde-St. Margaret certainly has that.
Royal, not very big. They had a running back a few years ago here. It wasn't very big. It was amazing. Named Ricky Floyd. Helped them win the state title. It ran for 400 yards in some games.
I remember him.
I think a lot of opposing coaches remember him too in their sleep, and they wake up sweating.
Well, they were at his graduation party, just making sure he was done. He was great.
Gain of 9 on that play. The amazing thing about Floyd is they got to the state title game. He got hurt in that game against Winona, and they still won it.
Yep. You know what'll be interesting down the road with how good both of these running backs have done tonight. You know, how do you get Isaiah Smith back into the mix? And you know, you talk about embarrassment of wealth and riches at the running back position.
They might find a place for him. Way to depth chart. They have a running back. Here's a bubble screen out for Rash, and he's up to the 24-yard line and a first down and a pickup of 5.
And again, a great ball fake and an easy throw, and you give your receiver a chance to catch it and then get upfield. And a really solid one-on-one tackle by Arneson, but going to be enough for a first down. Dylan Rash there and Zach Swenson, two very good receivers. You know, and you haven't seen Benilde-St. Margaret take a lot of shots down the field, big plays in the passing game, but very efficient, very effective in that short and medium range passes tonight.
1st and 10 from the 24. Royal. And that was Strigo trying to bring him down. Royal running tough against the wrestler.
And you know his coaches have told him at halftime, and they probably keep reminding him here during the second half, hang on to that football.
Well, you can teach a guy over the course of a season to hold the ball right and not fumble anymore necessarily, but you can't teach some of the quickness and the moves he has. And one of those fumbles, remember, was a pitch play that just didn't pan out.
You know, and I like what the Red Knights are doing too. They're having some motion. They went trips that last time left, and they're running back to the right. So they're changing their formations up, you know, just enough, running a lot of the same plays, but out of different looks.
Flag here, multiple players moving on the far side, but it will be against Benilde-St. Margaret's.
Yeah, Stephen Birch, number 68, I think they're going to get moving a little bit early before the ball is snapped.
So that will make it 2nd down and 9.
We don't have stats up here, Charlie, but what would you guess, 20 penalties tonight?
In that neighborhood between the two teams, and that is one of the things that both coaches can look at come next week, that the teams have to clean up. Royal again, bouncing it outside, trying to get away from Ruland. Shoved out of bounds near the 15-yard line, close to the 1st down.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, defense very, very well, but that's one of those things where you if you haven't seen that kind of speed, you think you're there, you think you're setting the edge, and still Camden Royal able to get to the outside. Not a huge play, but a big pickup nonetheless. You set up a 3rd and very, very short. So a nice 8-yard gain there, which really they didn't look like there was much available.
Is 79 yards in the second half, Royal. Actually, now even 100 for the night, including a touchdown. Now they give it to Robertson. He should have the 1st down. And he will move the chains up to the 12.
Nice tackle, too, by Tilzer and Strigal there, but good push, enough initial push up front. Those interior offensive linemen for Benilde-St. Margaret doing a very nice job tonight.
I was standing next to Tilzer on the field before the game. He's 5'9", 200 pounds, and he just looked like he was ready to hit somebody. I was just hoping it wouldn't be me.
He looks like a football player. He tackles like a football player, too.
1st and 10 at the 12. Handoff. And it's Robertson. And that time a nice defensive play by Aiden Mueller. We haven't talked about all night. A sophomore getting out there, number 20.
You know, that's it. That's the other thing too. If you're an Orono fan, you're not thrilled with what's happening here tonight, but you're playing a lot of young players, a lot of new varsity players. Guess what? You're only going to get better. The more experience you get, and you can't simulate game experience. So a lot of the mistakes, some of the things that they've done that haven't been great tonight, they're going to improve on. And you got to figure, if you got a great defense, offense is going to come around. I probably wouldn't want to see this Orono team down the road, towards the end of the season.
Again, they're still right in this game. Into the end zone. Maybe not now. Marinaro with the touchdown. And he cramps up as he comes to the sideline, but he'll celebrate while getting stretched out.
I'll tell you what was really impressive. We saw that play develop where we're sitting up here in the booth. But I'll tell you, Nick Peterson, he was looking right the whole time. They were running almost like a crisscross of two different slants, one in, one out. He was going to throw it, but it wasn't there. And he had that poise there to regather himself, allow his receivers to keep going. And then he found Marinaro down the field, down the middle of the field, and threw a strike.
Over 80 yards rushing tonight. Now 2 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown. He's played a big role on defense. Fantastic game for Marinaro, and a penalty on the extra point.
After a slow start for both of these quarterbacks, Nick Peterson has really had himself a game.
He's been very accurate. And that was what he struggled with last year. And despite that issue with inaccuracy, he completed 41% of his passes last year, but still threw for 900 yards and 11 touchdowns.
And I'll tell you, with this offense, the way they run the ball, you don't necessarily need to take the top off on passing plays, but if you can play action and just hit that outside, those easy throws, man, they're hard to stop. And he's had a great game. You know, and that's what you want to do when you're a senior, you're in your second year of starting varsity. Watch him look to the right here. This play was designed to go right. You see him, he looked right, and then he realized it wasn't there, looks back across the field, and he throws a dart right between two Orono defenders. That's experience right there as your quarterback. Not trying to force the ball, but going to your third read on a play like that and then delivering it accurately. I'll tell you, if Benilde-St. Margaret can get that kind of play out of Peterson along with their rushing game, and you got to figure at some point when Isaiah Smith comes back, along with their really stout defense, this could be a team that you definitely don't want to see coming down later in the year.
And remember, he had a chance to add another touchdown. He was stopped at the goal line in that first half.
If they can just figure out the cramping issue. There's Teddy Dieters on the sideline.
Frustration for him tonight. He had a tough game before he was hurt.
But you certainly hope it's nothing, not a serious sprain. One of those where you give it a couple of days, you're going to be in the training room getting treatment 24/7. And the problem with those ankles is sometimes they linger, right? And you think you're healthy, and then you go back and someone tweaks it again, and it can be one of those things that just lingers for the whole year. And you certainly hope that's not the case. I love that Orono is just being precaution, taking him out, and hopefully get him right during the week so he can be back at full speed, full strength next week.
Another short kick. They do the reverse this time. Arneson will run it, and he's got some room out there across the 40-yard line, and a flag comes in late. Now, Arneson has just made things happen when he's touched the football.
Yep, you got to find a way to keep getting him the football.
Check the penalty. It landed at about the 35-yard line. Face mask against Benilde-St. Margaret's, so that's going to add more. They will start the drive in Red Knights territory. They've not run a lot of plays on the plus side of the 50 tonight. Remember, their only score was a 65-yard touchdown pass.
Well, and Nick Ruland, who I know is going to be a great running back this year, just has not been able to get it started at all. And so they've really kind of become one-dimensional, and that's hard to do when you got your backup quarterback in there.
And there you see in the backfield next to him is Strigo. See if he gets the call on first down and what he can do with it. He will. And one tackle away from breaking a big one, and Bud Dieterding was there and brought him down.
Dieterding's a heck of a football player, too. He's a sure tackler. He's given up 205 pounds to 240 on that, 230 on that, and just a nice form tackle. He hit him low, wraps up. I'll tell you, both of these teams' defense, got to give them a lot of credit.
Gain of 3. 2nd and 7 with 7:05 remaining. And a quick score here for Orono. Certainly not out of the game. Beltran under pressure. Dieterding again. And then he's going to get wrapped up with the 2 extra bodies coming in to help out.
That's where you see his feet get wrapped up. That's where you got to get rid of the football. You got to throw it away.
Now he's a little slow to get up, but pops back to his feet. Loss of 7.
And it just seems like these negative plays have hindered Orono all night long, whether it's a penalty. We've seen a couple of these disaster plays, right, where they're just stuck in the backfield. They just got to eliminate negative plays. If you're getting a yard, 2, 3, 4 yards every time, at least you're going forward. You just don't want to go backwards.
Timeout here on 3rd down and long. They need to get to the 35.
At this stage of the game, too, with 6 minutes left, you're down 2 scores. I got to think you're pretty close to 4-down territory here. So you don't got to get it all. Get 8, 9 yards. Try to give yourself a 4th down and manageable here.
A lot to think about for first-year head coach Joe McPherson. Again, a team that won 6 games a year ago. A few years ago, they were inches away from heading to the state semifinals. Played one of the all-time great state tournament games against Becker on their own field. Lost 22-21 back when Becker was winning those back-to-back titles. Orono almost got him.
Next Friday night,
they've been a good team for the last handful of years, and they're going to be good again this year. This is
well, they got good athletics out there. They got a good basketball program. A lot of good athletes out there, and you can see they got guys that you can tell they're moving all over. They just got athletes, right, that can play a variety of positions. And
basketball coach for Orono, Barry Wohlers, he is here. He's an assistant with the football team. Probably seen him in some of those shots on the sidelines. Down the field, going for Arneson. Got him inside the 15, down to the 12.
That's a huge throw and catch. And if I'm a quarterback too, I'm going to Arneson every time. He's been the one guy that's been able to go get that ball, but that was an excellently thrown ball.
107 yards receiving now tonight for Arneson on 3 catches, and Beltran's big arm comes into play.
And I'll tell you, if Orono can punch it in here, still got plenty of time, and all of a sudden defensively you got a little bit more energy, a little bit more excitement, knowing your offense can march down and score. You got a chance to do this. So this is the big drive. Orono's got to punch it in here.
Shotgun, Beltran stepping up, surveying, throwing for the back of the end zone into double coverage. And they're lucky to get away with that one, as the intended receiver was number 3, Mike Wojciechowski, a junior.
See an injury there, Malik Robertson. We've seen that running back quite a bit. Looks like he's cramping up a little bit too.
You cramping up?
No, I'm good. You know, it's one of those things.
I went up and down the stairs.
I've never had cramps, Charlie, as a football or basketball player. I've never had one. So you see some of these guys, and it looks painful, but I've never experienced that.
You haven't had them too often, but they're awful.
Well, you see them a lot early in the year, and obviously in warm weather. When you see guys playing in warm weather, they get dehydrated. So that's where, as coaches and training staffs, you're constantly talking about eating right. You know, that's the thing. These guys have, such an advantage nowadays. Back when we played, we never talked about nutrition, or I was drinking Mountain Dew before football games. And now a lot of these schools have nutritionists on their staff or in the weight room, and they're talking about how to eat, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat it.
So the upcoming schedules for Orono, and there's Benilde next week, De La Salle, then at Chanhassen, back here against Bloomington Jefferson on 20th of September. Again, 5 home games this year for Benilde-St. Margaret's. This is a great field too. It's very scenic.
Yeah. Great school.
Sometimes hard to find. No direction app can get you to Benilde-St. Margaret's. You've got to know how to get here.
Well, you see it off of Highway 100.
It's very frustrating,
How to
isn't it?
get there is a totally different story. Since you got 4 receivers, you got trips bunched here to the right, 1 down to the left.
Sprigo, Arneson, both to the right. Take the handoff, and they throw it to Arneson. And he's going to try to go back all the way across the field, and you know what? He almost made something out of it. Now a flag flies late. Block in the back.
It looked like Arneson had room outside to the right there, but he brought it all the way back to the left.
Orono coaches are next to us. They might be saying the exact same thing in their headsets.
It looked like it was just a quick throw. In Arneson's credit, you got to make split-second decisions, but they had some muscle out there blocking in front of them.
It's always tough too when you try to go all the way back across the field.
Yeah.
How often do you see penalties there?
And I'll tell you, one of the things I'm noticing tonight is Benilde-St. Margaret's not making any mistakes defensively. All the plays that have come up have been great ones by Orono, right? You're just not going to find a weak link or a mistake on that side of the football if you're Orono. You're just going to have to make a great winning play.
Second down and long from the 27. Another nice defensive play. Stepping up on Arneson was Charlie Warner, number 2. And we're seeing good defensive plays from a lot of different names. We haven't mentioned Warner all night, and there he makes a nice tackle.
Yeah, just good balance all across the line. Just solid players everywhere you look.
Gain of 5. They can get a first down. They have to get to the 3-yard line for it. And 2 down territory for sure. Let's see where they go. Strigo is at the bottom of your screen. Arneson in the slot on that side. They're going to throw it back the other way, and it's dropped. That is an incomplete pass, despite all the players piling in on top of it. That was Gustafson.
Well, again,
Gavin Gustafson.
Yeah, I love the play design there. They're looking like you're going right, where you got trips to the wide side of the field. They come back for almost like a delayed screen left. But again, just great discipline by the Red Knights. They were waiting for him. Even if he catches that football, it's not going for much of a gain. So here you are, 4th down. You got to give one of your playmakers, I'm guessing either Arneson or Strigo, give them a chance to go up and make a play in the end zone. And if you're the offensive line, you got to buy a couple seconds, give your quarterback a chance to get this ball down the field.
Arneson is in the middle of the trips to the right. Strigo is next to him. Actually, he's at the top of the screen. Beltran's got to run for his life, and he's going to go down.
Well, that kind of sums up the ball game, Charlie. Just 4th and long. You just need to buy some time. And I'll tell you, this Benilde-St. Margaret defensive line, they have been relentless all night long.
Darnell McCree and Elijah Brown came in with the finishing move there at the end.
Well, McCree has had a wonderful game. He's been disruptive in the run and the pass game. And I'll tell you, you can be the best quarterback in the world. If you don't have time to throw the ball, it doesn't matter. And I think you give that defensive line and that linebacking core for the Red Knights, you give them a lot of credit tonight.
So 1st and 10 from the 40 for Benilde-St. Margaret's, and a chance to run out the clock. Marinaro on the sidelines right now after the cramps he's had in the second half. They might lean on Royal here. He's got a lot of room on this near side and does a nice job staying in bounds for a sophomore. That's a smart play as Gustafson brings him down after a gain of 17. Again, over 100 yards tonight for Royal.
And all of it almost in the second half, right? I mean, he had those 2 fumbles in the first half. He's totally redeemed himself. And I'll tell you, he's just got a different gear. He gets that ball, he is gone.
4th run tonight of 10 yards or more.
And look, I mean, you got to compliment the offensive line. There wasn't a white jersey in the picture until 8 yards down the field. So excellent job by that left side of the line of scrimmage there up front. Kind of what we talked about, just wearing, I think that lack of depth for Orono starting to pay off here late in the second half, just getting worn down by this running attack here for the Red Knights.
Back to Royal, same type of play. And again, trying to stay in bounds, but he does step out this time. Short gain, in fact, no gain.
You know, and the Red Knights, too, not doing anything that difficult or new as far as play calling, running a lot of the same actions, same carries, and saying, hey, you might know what we're going to do, but stop it. And Orono just hasn't been able to stop it here in the second half.
Royal to the sidelines, Marinaro back in on 2nd down and 10.
You can tell this is a physical game for both teams. You're getting a lot of guys injured, banged up, and that's common on the first game of the season. Your body's not used to taking those hits, but a lot of it's because both of these teams are hitting, and they're hitting hard.
Marinaro trying to get to the outside. Arneson in open space once again.
He's a football player, isn't he? Only a junior, too. He's one of those guys, when he's lined up, when he's one-on-one in a tackling situation, you feel like he's gonna somehow make that play. And he's got good speed, good length, and great effort. He plays with a very, very high level of energy.
So it's 3rd and 13. Marinaro is the back. He gets the call up the middle. Tilzer spins him down at the 40, a gain of 6.
There's another football player too in Tilzer.
That's the thing. And Orono's down 21-7. But we're seeing a lot of good players out there for them. They just have to execute a little better next week. They will punt it here on 4th down, taking their time about it with 2:30 remaining. Again, you're talking about a miracle for Orono now if they were able to come back. They will try to throw it deep, but as you mentioned, they don't have a lot of time to do that.
Well, and remember too, there's Benilde-St. Margaret. Really, the one thing they've struggled with is the long snap in their punt. So if I'm Orono, I'm bringing pressure. I'm telling those front 6 or 7, dude, you got to go all out. If we can get a block punt here, maybe pick it up and scoop and get a quick touchdown. We did the same Michael Albertville Maple Grove game a couple years ago, and was it 20-something points in the last minute. So we've seen crazy stuff happen. So that's the other thing you're teaching your kids is you never give up. You play to the whistle, you play to the end, because you just never know. And it's such a great life lesson too, Charlie. You keep fighting, you keep fighting. Good things will always happen.
They are coming after this punt. Got close. They do get it away. And it's going to be a return for Strigo. Not much of one as he's upended by Micah Cade, who's made a couple nice special team plays.
That's a great tackle. That's a big body coming, and you see how he went low, and beautiful job, beautiful tackle. Both these teams, really, really good tackling football teams. It's noticeable. A lot of times early on, too, you see undisciplined defense, poor tackling, not with these two teams, both excellent tacklers.
So backed up to its own 15, Orono down 14 with 2:06 left in the game. They once had a 7-0 lead in this one in the second quarter after a long touchdown pass, but it has been tough sledding offensively for most of the night. And of course, having to change quarterbacks in the third quarter didn't help. Beltran has come on and done an admirable job. He will hand it off. Gustafson again strung out to the outside, and how many red jerseys are there? There's 4 guys standing up that are near the ball and 3 more on the tackle. And finishing the play off is Luke Mathwig.
No, he's another one of those linebackers who's just been all over the field. He's a senior. And I'll tell you, when they tackle, they don't just tackle, they bring the lumber. They are tackling hard. And what you love to see as a head coach or a defensive coach is, you know, the first guy's there, he's holding them up, and you teach your guys just to get to that ball, and when they do, they deliver blows. They have a hard-hitting group of kids.
Minute 19 left, second down and 15. Beltran stepping up, firing deep, but on the run. It's underthrown, intended for Arneson.
Third down and 15 from the 10.
That'll bring up third down and 15. Tough night offensively for Orono all night long. He's been a bright spot. Noah Arneson, 6 foot, 170-pound junior. He has their only touchdown tonight. Tough head coaching debut for Joe McPherson. A lot of things have gone against them tonight. But this is still a good football team. You'll hear from them come late October in this brutal section. Beltran to throw to the outside and overshoots Strigo. So a minute 2 remaining and fourth down. They'll have to punt. Derek Standifer will go back deep along with Leishau, the 2 punt returners all night. Imagine fair catch is the order of the moment from the sideline. safe hands at this point of the game. Freddie Brophy's getting his punting practice in tonight. End over end kick. Standifer with a fair catch, lets it bounce and hauls it in at the 40-yard line. 55 seconds remaining. And despite the 2 timeouts for Orono, Benilde-St. Margaret's can probably kneel this out. The fans starting to appreciate it here on the sidelines. Good crowd here for this opener. And the victory formation is out. Stay tuned after the game. Ryan will be down on the sidelines. A couple players from this one. A lot of candidates to talk to on both sides. One knee from Peterson. They'll have to do one more. Good start for Benilde-St. Margaret's coming in without star running back Isaiah Smith. Be gone for 6 to 8 weeks maybe. But they ran the ball very well in his absence. A couple 100-yard runners tonight. And they will win this one 21-7. Another hard-fought battle between these two teams for the 2nd consecutive year. Pardon me, the 4th consecutive year regular season meeting. Benilde wins it. Only lost in that time in the sections a couple of years ago. 21-7. The final in this one, and the two teams after a rumble on the field shake hands. And a happy man in the walking boot on the sidelines is John Hanks.
Final score, Benilde-St. Margaret.
Well, the Red Knights off to a 1-0 start.
A reminder to the Red Knight football fans.
And again, we'll have Ryan down on the sidelines in just a moment. Orono up next week against Cooper. That's a home game. They'll be at home again on September 13th against Chaska. Benilde home again next week. They'll play De La Salle. Then they go on the road at Chanhassen 2 weeks from now. But they start this season 1-0 after finishing last year 7-4. And Ryan standing by. We will step aside for just a second. We come back. Ryan on the field with a couple of the victorious Red Knights on CCX Sports.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Benilde-St. Margaret's dominates the second half after a 7-7 tie at halftime. Actually came from behind in this game, trailed 7-0 late in that second quarter, but really turned it on the ground. Their running back by committee approach really working tonight, wearing down this Orono team in the second half for a 21-7 victory. A lot of great performances on this Benilde-St. Margaret's team. Starting with the quarterback, Nick Peterson was fantastic, especially as the game went on, eventually threw his first touchdown pass of the year. Great running performances from Camden Royal as well as Nick Marinaro. And they had a lot of other good contributions. Of course, they were getting some great running early on from William Petty, who had 5 carries early in the game for 44 yards before leaving with an injury. He was a cheerleader the rest of the way, and he was a very good cheerleader for his teammates. On the other side, Orono, of course, losing the quarterback Teddy Dieters in the third quarter was a big hit to their ambitions here, but really all night long the offense struggled to get anything going against this physical and very well disciplined Benilde-St. Margaret's defensive unit. And one of the guys that is a leader on the defensive unit, Joe Marinaro, is going to be down with Ryan Iverson here in just a second. And, of course, Joe also had a touchdown run and a touchdown catch tonight. And let's head down to Ryan with Joe Marinaro right now. Ryan?
Hi, guys. I'm here with one of the stars of the game, Joe Marinaro. Tonight, you were all over the field running the football. You guys running back by committee, but you got in there and just brought some physicality, some excitement, some energy. How did it feel for you?
It felt great to be back out there. It's been a long time in the works, and I was just really happy to be on the field playing.
Tonight, Orono's known for having a great defense. Number one, your guys' defense was outstanding. Mm-hmm. You were a big part of that as well. But during the course of the game, it seemed like you guys just wore them down, and a lot of that was because of your physicality and the way you were pounding the rock. Did you feel that you were wearing them down as the game went on?
I don't know about individually, but I think as a unit, we really wore them down. Our coaches do a great job conditioning us in the summer, and all of us were just ready to go. We all felt like we were in good shape, but obviously we had a lot of guys cramping too, so we know we got to get in better shape for the next game. But yeah, we thought that we just kept going. We kept it on the whole game, and keeping the pressure on helped us wear them down as the game went on.
We got a lot of young kids that watch our channels, watch the football games. I always tell running backs, keep your feet moving. And there was a couple plays tonight, one that they blew dead that you would have kept going there. Is that kind of what your fundamentals, just keeping low and keeping driving? How big is that to your success?
I think it's really important. 2 years ago when we played Orono, I thought I did a really poor job of that. Then I went into the off season and I knew that I had to work on that a lot. And I think that no matter how big you are, if you just keep your legs driving, keep them moving, that's how you keep going. If you stay stagnant, you're going to get knocked over.
First game of the year, all the work for the summer, all the bad taste from losing last year. Everyone's nervous, a lot of new players coming in. How did you guys harness that and finally just settle down and play football?
Well, we just know we have a great team. Everybody was a little nervous, like you said, but we all just want to be out there. So, we had a couple mistakes when the game started, but we pulled it together, and we knew that if we just did what the coaches had taught us, did what we had been doing all summer, all fall, that we'd come out with the win.
What is the identity of this football team? I know it's one game in. You're never quite sure till you get out on the field, but what is the identity of this football team?
I think we're a team with a great defense. The fact that they scored on us, I think, pisses all of us off. We messed up.
You ran a little harder after that touchdown play, too, when you got the ball that next possession.
Yeah, well, I knew we had to get it back. But I think we're a ground and pound team on the ground. Our quarterback over there can sling it a little bit, but we like to run the football. We like to play defense hard. We got a lot of hard-hitting guys. We just like to hit people. All
right, well, go drink a lot of water, eat a lot of bananas. Nice job tonight. I'll bring in the quarterback tonight. Nick Peterson, excellent job tonight. Thank you. You were talking about running the football. Mm-hmm. I talked all night, too, about your accuracy tonight. Not a lot of hard down-the-field throws, but just some play action, some short, quick throws. You got a nice rhythm going. How important was that?
It's really nice. We have a terrific run game, so, it opens up the pass game a lot. We got great backs like Joe and Cam coming in, and Will Petty, who got hurt early. But, they make the defense come in, and it's just super nice for when I get to sit back and hit a wide-open, wide receiver who's not even really paying attention. So it's really nice to have a benefit that way. So
well, we talked a lot about the Orono quarterback being athletic, making plays with his legs. You came out and maybe had the most athletic play of the night where you kept it, came back to the right. Yeah. You got good speed too. Did you like to run the football as well?
I don't know. I'm probably more of a passer, but there's a couple times where if I get open and it's easy to go downfield. Not much of a mover, but when I have to be, I'll make it work.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things I always talk about, successful teams have to have balance. They have to run the football, have to be able to throw. Last year, you got a lot of experience. How much more confident are you to start the season, and especially the way you played tonight?
I'm a lot more confident. It was a great off season. Working all season long, and I think running was kind of one of my short suits. So we're really working on that, and being able to translate it to the field was big. And I think it was just an overall good off season that would carried on to this.
All season, you guys worked towards the start of the season. You obviously played, lost to the state champion last year, very close. What are the expectations, and how do you feel like they've changed, or had they changed after this first game?
I think our expectations have always been high. That's what our coach says. Strive for perfect, and then we'll accept excellence. So I think, making back to that section game, playing SMB or whoever we get, that state run is always the hope. So, we get with such a great, talented team, we always have that expectation. Now we just got to, day by day execute and work for that goal.
Last thing, the offensive line doesn't get a lot of credit in the newspaper or the TV, but here's your chance to let them know how good of a job did they do tonight.
I mean, O-line and D-line. D-line had 3 or 4 sacks. DJ was a beast. I mean, Noah at center was awesome. Elijah Brown had a couple good big hits. What's unique about our offense with all these pulling guys, we have so many guys that, get out in field, and you can see them 5-10 yards downfield making plays. So, I mean, they played tremendous. They helped out our backs a ton.
You get a big win. I heard Coach say 7 a.m. tomorrow. I mean, can he let you sleep in a little bit?
We got 7 a.m. Saturday, and then we'll back on it Monday, so it'll be awesome.
Well, congrats on the big win to start the year. Great game tonight. Good luck the rest of the year. All right, back to you, Charlie.
And here I thought they wouldn't practice until Tuesday. How wrong could I be? Great game and great interviews from a couple of senior leaders there for the Benilde-St. Margaret Red Knights, who win it 21-7 tonight. For our great crew here at CCX Sports, Ryan Iverson, I'm Charlie Beatty saying so long. Don't forget to tune in. Big sports week next week starting Wednesday night with a great volleyball game at Lakeville North at Champlain Park. That's it for us tonight, everybody. Benilde-St. Margaret's wins it 21-7.